Welcome to the Ray Sports Show. This is all about college football. Get your day started here with college football news and your pregame show from the All Sports All Play Facebook page, the Twitch, and the YouTube channel. You can see it strolling down there, and we also got the welcome to the Ray Sports. Sorry about that. We also got it on our big old website too, and we launched a website today last this week at the ASEP Sports Network. Go check it out here. And if you don't believe me, I can show you the actual website that we have running right now. And you can catch it, all our shows live on our website. So let me go ahead and share my screen here to show you the actual website itself. And you can see me. We're running live here. See, this is our live picture of our website. Um, You see all the rolling down. You got all the shows going across. What we have coming up this week. This is the brand new football show here on the All Sports All Play Network here, and I'm your host Ray Cruz. We're gonna get started here. We're gonna talk about some college football. Get you ready for. We're less than 14 days away from the first tip football contest, so we're gonna get it right started here. We're gonna talk about some latest news here in the NCAA about the players getting paid, and what is good about the players getting paid. You know, you can bring back. We haven't had a college football video game since 2014, the last NCAA college football that was put out. So that's going to get some of the gamers back up in college football realm here in 2022. That's projection to be the upcoming NCAA rebirth, I think, with EA Sports is talking about making one. So that's pretty much what I like about college football, because we get the college football games and players getting paid. And I think they should, because, you're using their likeness in the game. You want your favorite team, your favorite players in there. If all the college gets involved. I mean, the NCAA game was actually pretty good, because I like playing NCAA football better than Madden game. It just makes it more realistic. You can make your teams, and you be your own coach, and you got to recruit, and you get the feel of college football when you got there recruiting your own players and stuff for the showing you the interaction, how you recruit players, get you the feel of real football games. It's like getting you right there in the game itself. So that pretty much the likeness of the NCAA and players getting paid. I think it's good for the players, but I like the way they need to do with that aspect of the game here is when the players actually get ready to leave, you give them the full bulk of what they earn, not when they're in college itself. You got players now getting sponsorships. You got players, Bojangles is sponsoring some of the Carolina basketball players, some of the college football teams like North Carolina State University. Getting sponsorship is getting them recognition with college sports, getting them prepared to go to NFL, and when they have to go out and do interviews and stuff, I think it's getting them more prepared, outside the realm of college football. And, we know that the institution is made to go to school and get your education, give something for the college players to fall back on too. So you get into double-edged swords when you're a college athlete. And I think that's going to help the game. And then now we're getting down to technical terms. We're getting these superpower conferences like the SEC is now trying to merge with Texas and Oklahoma University. We got the ACC, the Pac-12, the Big Ten, all in talks of trying to get a deal worked out where they play not joining the conference but playing overall games, non-conference games with the different teams, and trying to balance out the SEC and the ACC, to balance out the power between the SEC by grabbing Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, that's a big play by SEC trying to get Texas. Texas has got a boatload of money, boatload of boosters. That's going to help their revenue. They also got their own Longhorn network too, and along with the SEC channel. So that's going to be huge. That's a big recruiting tool for the Texas Longhorn. If they all get this stuff done joining the SEC, it's going to make a very powerhouse conference, and it's going to make a notoriety. What they already, I mean, SEC is already rich in college football. They got Alabama, they have Florida, they have Tennessee, they have Georgia, and they have Auburn, and LSU. So I mean, it's a rich football conference anyway. And now you're going to go out there and grab Oklahoma and Texas, one of the big college rivalries between each other. So that's going to bring more notoriety into the SEC and probably bring a lot more players in there and stuff. I like to see how this is going to help their recruiting for all the schools and stuff. And if this really going to Texas and Oklahoma joining the conference is really going to draw down some of Alabama's recruiting, but I don't know because Nick Saban has been recruiting very well at Alabama since he's been there. I mean, Alabama has become a powerhouse team. Went from the early years of being a powerhouse down to a mediocre team, and back up when Nick Saban showed up and brought Alabama back to the promised land. So I mean, you still got your big dogs in Alabama who's going to come in ranked number one in the preseason. I mean, you got teams still looking up to Alabama. It's been a year round since Nick Saban, and I don't think Nick Saban's going to retire anytime soon. So, Alabama's going to always be in that neighborhood. It's going to always be in that top echelon of college football. I mean, it's just a prestige school, and the way they recruit there. And now, when you add these sponsorships and these players getting sponsored and stuff like that, and getting these lucrative deals, Alabama's going to be one of the cream cops trying to get that lucrative deal for players. So, I mean, you're going to have the scholarship's not going to be changing that much. It's not going to be they added numbers because of these sponsorships and stuff like that. They're still going to have a limited number of things. So other teams going to benefit from it also. And, trying to get competing. You got to set your echelon high with Alabama up there. Alabama is that school that you're trying to drive to. You're trying to get your teams up there, and you're trying to compete with Alabama. So that's a little bit of what Nick Saban has. Nick Saban has a little bit of love and a little bit of notoriety and principle of names and stuff like that. He came from, at Michigan State, went up into LSU, became a powerhouse coach in LSU, made them a national championship. They left LSU, went to Miami, to the Dolphins, tried it in the NFL, it didn't work. He went back and got picked up by Alabama. Alabama, I mean, that was a good choice, man. He's been a well-known name. And now you got a notoriety, and now he's bringing that Alabama team up to a super powerhouse team. So now other teams got to look up to Alabama and try to get that conclusive, try to get in these playoffs. Now, when the NCAA talking about expanding the playoffs, I think they need to expand the playoffs because you got these teams from the SEC. If you don't expand the playoffs, you're gonna have SEC teams probably running 2 or 3 teams at these playoffs, and you're never going to get nobody another chance to play. I think they should realistically they're going to try to go 8. I think they should go at least 16. Then you get your top 16 teams in the country and you have people fighting for these spots and then making more competitive football games on Saturday. And then you got your scheduling. So now with Alabama and the China, SEC and Texas and all them, now you're going to view what you're going to view here is you're going to watch teams now how to schedule more better games than having these non-conference games against these like FCS football championship conference games. I mean, so you got to look at it this way. We got and I agree with Freddie. Freddie Henderson put these universities can make money off players, so I say yes, they should get paid. Yeah, I mean, colleges football, you selling people, I got a jersey on right now, the North Carolina University football jersey, number 5. They ain't got no name on it, but you're making some money. Whoever wore number 5, you pay the university is making that number off the guy. He puts them on the field. They're making money. I mean, the revenue is outstanding. I mean, these universities are making millions and millions of dollars. I mean, not just Alabama. I mean, North Carolina is making millions of dollars. You got NC State making millions of dollars. You got Clemson making millions of dollars in the ACC. You have Tennessee. You have Texas. Texas has got big boosters. So you got to really drive at this concept here. What college football is turning into. College football is turning into a business. It's not more just going to school for these athletes. It's turning into a business. And you got to understand when money talks, people are listening. When the NCAA chopped down, when these players sue EA Sports, making millions of dollars off of their likeness. I understand that. I understand the concept. I mean, you could have gone away, making these football games with no people's names on them and not their likeness. And, and you can still put it up, the kind of revenue kind of stuff that you're getting from the university. But we know that we can go out and create players and create their likeness and stuff like that putting their information into the system and then building it. But you're not selling that way. But NCAA, EA Sports went away with that because NCAA went down and all that thing. So we have a lot of issues going on outside of college football, in the background. We got NCAA violations. We got this. We got people hammering North Carolina because they think they got away with everything. But I mean, at the time, the system was broken, and they had a lot of loopholes and had lawyers to get them, the college situation out of the Rams. So I mean, you got people, tied with the NCAA institution really is. To me, I think they need to redunds this information here and just really. I look at it this way: when you look at the NCAA and you look at what their rules and infraction, you got NC State right now going up, what they did with Smith. I don't think the university was involved in that, but the coach was named, and so they went after him. And now they're in front of a punch and prediction board. I mean, you got to understand these situations with these kids getting paid by boosters, underneath the table, people getting called, people whistling other people out. I mean, it's a dime dozen business here in college football and NCAA sports. I mean, this is getting in the new realm. I mean, I understand what they're doing. I understand that people are, some people are against this. I understand that. I understand both sides of the thing. You got to look at the spectrum here of college football. You got players that go into college, but they really are there to play the game of football. And some athletes take it that way, and they don't really produce that in their education. But college is really supposed to be for education, and you play like you get your education, you try to build yourself. And I look at it this way: when college football players and any college players and athletes get out there, they got to think, hey, let's get mindset going here. We're not going to play in, some of these people are not going to play in the NFL. They're going to get their education. They got to get their education, build their stuff up, and get in the workforce when they get out. I mean, their college playing days could be their last play in athletes. We know that. We know the NFL is not for long. It stands for not for long for these players. I mean, you're competing with the world best players. I mean, some of the players, they do good in college. Some of them are great college players, accidental college player. Did that translate into the NFL? No, not always. And so now, if you go out there and you're playing the way the sports are really played, then you're going to talk about the aspects of what you're going to fall back on, what you got to plan going, what you got planned going after the football days. You got to think about both things, and that's what college is all supposed to be all about. Get your education, get your fallback, get your play, and then now we're thinking about college football as a business. It's going to turn into like an amateur sport. I mean, it's really not a major league sport, but it's turning that way. And I understand everybody's aspect. Players need to get paid. Players got room and board, get your education. That's what these scholarship, that's what people think the scholarship is there for. Yeah, it's there for them to get their education, but you also got to think these players got to make some money somehow to live on these campuses, live on the thing. And if you got the NCAA rules back in the old days, you couldn't go out and get a bona fide job if you're on full ride because that's against NCAA violations. So, I mean, you got to understand the players like this, these colleges making millions and millions off these players. And then, like Freddie Henderson said in the comments here, these universities are making money. And I understand that too, because the universities are making money off these players. And you can't have it both ways. And, we got to accept the new term and you got to accept the new thing. But let's get started here with some of the college football that's coming up here in less than 14 days away. And I want to set some stages here for you. We got some big matchups. We got the SEC, we got the ACC, we got the Big Ten, we got the Pac-12, we got the other rest of the conference and stuff. And now we got these teams picking other teams apart, picking these conferences apart, trying to make these other conferences weak to make themselves powerhouse. So, and you got to understand their situation here. The conferences are trying to get better. The conferences are trying to get college football, trying to get the fans engaged. Are we tired of seeing Alabama play a weak team, non-conference? I am. I'm ready. I'm tired of my own team, North Carolina, playing some of these weak FCC teams. If you want to be in the top notch of Alabama stuff, you got to schedule top notch football. You can't be scared to sit back and just pick a team that you think you can win. on your schedule. You got to be competitive, and you know how you can get recruits. And this is how Alabama. I don't know how Alabama is playing these weeks. We get down to the tail end of the schedule. They always play a weak team like Western Carolina University or Bowling Green. Something they can pummel before they get to their big game against Auburn. So we need to stop this. We need to have teams playing competitive football from week 1 all the way down to week 12, week 13, whatever you get. And that's what's going to bring more money into football is when you get teams that schedule powerhouse teams on your non-conference, and then you play your conference schedule. But I understand some of their thinkings is if you get easier teams on your schedule, then that's going to pick up easier wins for you and get you started and get your team rolling. But like me, I like to play the teams right off the bat. You got to play the teams right off the bat. Get in there, get in your dog fights. You got to get your teams good. This is how you play the best. If you want to be the best, you got to play the best, and you got to play top-notch teams all year, all your 12 game schedule, not just one game at all, just not one game, and then you play these weak conference teams that boost up your record. Because if you got to get in that playoff. The playoffs are very slim. You have only 4 teams right now in the playoffs. If they make it now 8, that's good because you get 4 more extra teams in there, and then you can battle. So, you're still competing with the SEC here. SEC is here. Rest of the conference is down here, trying to get up to the SEC level. I'll play. I mean, not all SEC teams are good. Some of the SEC teams are weak. I mean, you look at South Carolina. You look at Missouri. They're not, powerhouse teams in there. But you got your Alabamas, you got your LSUs, you got your Auburns, you got your Georgias, you got your Florida. And the Kentucky's starting to come a little bit up. And they're not right there they're not right there in the conference level. But now when you're going to add Oklahoma, you're going to add Texas. How this conference is going to line up when they get these teams? Are we going to see Alabama going over to the east side? And then you got to keep the rivalries going. You got to keep these rivalries going. Like you got to keep the Florida Georgia game going. You got to keep the Alabama and Auburn game. You got to keep the Oklahoma and Texas game together. I mean, so you got to figure out how you can do that to keep these rivalries going. I mean, you got the Red River Shootout. I mean, that's a big game. That's a big game for these people. You want to break that thing. The way the SEC did this, they did it where they want to break it up. Now you got Texas A&M looking here. Excuse me. You got Texas A&M looking on too. Now they get the chance to play Texas. So that's going to be huge in that round because, Texas A&M used to be in the conference with Texas. Now, when they left, they didn't want to play each other. Now, if the Texas comes into the SEC, they're going to have to figure out a way to get Texas A&M and Texas playing. If you put them on the same side of the bracket of the thing, now you're going to get them playing. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting for college football, in College Station. Now they get the chance to play Texas. Try to knock off your rivalry in Texas and in the university round. So, I mean, you're getting that rivalry back too. So, I mean, SEC's went out and got the team that they need and got a very big opening team here. So if you look at the realm of the college football, the landscape is changing right now, and SEC is not going anywhere. SEC is getting stronger. Every other team's got now, all the other conferences got to pick up. The way the ACC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, all talking about playing non-conference games, not getting in conference, taking teams away from the conference. Now they're getting it lined up where they play non-conference game. That might help out something like the ACC and stuff to get better competition, at a Power 5 level and stop leaving these FCS go and try to get your football team up to a level of college football predominances. So you got to understand what you're thinking about college football and what you're thinking about here. So, we're going to run down here in a little bit here. The top 25. We're going to get the, preseason top 25, the not too early top 25, and we're gonna dissect some of these top 25 if they are pretenders or contenders, or are they just there because they recruited well, and we're gonna see how they, you got to think about it. Everybody's getting Alabama to the championship. Alabama's got to go out there and play on the field. They got to go out there and perform on that field. I mean, you got barring injuries. We don't want players getting injured. We want the very best out there for these teams. And that's what you get. That's how you get. We're gonna check some of these conference. We're gonna check some of these teams' schedule. We're gonna see how weak they are and if they put up a strong fight for it. I mean, we got to understand college football is trying to get the fans back in the stands. After the pandemic, having a really tough time getting getting these colleges and getting these players stay healthy. Not getting the COVID. And the ACC came out recently and said that if you got COVID, if your team gets COVID and you miss a game, that's a forfeit. You lose that game, so it's going to be a forfeit. I mean, so we got to understand we got this pandemic Delta virus is going around. We got to keep the players healthy. We got to find a way to keep everything. And we're looking at very interesting times. We've got one of the big articles I read the other day was what I saw the other day was the big question. We have the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 alliance. So that's what we've been talking about. The SEC's got going after Texas and Oklahoma. Are they going to be very powerful? Are they going to be a very stealth team? I mean, what are we really going to look at here when it comes to college football and college sports as we break down? This show does not. I mean, this show right here is going to be all about college football coming up. Then we're going to move into college basketball. Then this show is going to take it to the next level. We're going to try to incorporate all college sports here, and we're going to talk. I'm really passionate about college sports. I'm a big Tar Heel fan. This show is not going to be all about Tar Heels. Not going to be all about the ACC. We're going to go around everywhere. We're going to talk about all the conference plays. We're going to talk about footballs on Saturday. We're going to get you ready for the matchup. We're going to look at the key matchups and talk about the matchup. This is what this show is really about. We might have people jump in and on here, helping out here or there when they get, they feel like coming on and stuff like that. So you can hit me up on my messenger. If you got stuff you want to get on this show, you got something you want to talk about college football, I'll bring you on this show. This is going to be interaction. This is not just going to be me rambling around talking. I want to bring interaction from people. Other sports analysts on this A7 network. If they want to jump in and talk about college sports, hey, let me know. Hit me up. I'll send you the link. You can jump on. We'll talk about it, and then you can jump off. I mean, this show is going to be fast-paced, moving, talking about college sports. If you want to jump on, you can. If we get a fan that wants to jump on and talk about college sports, hey, I'm more welcome to it. This show is about college football. This show is about the fans. This show is about our analysts getting on here and participating. This show is going to be formatted differently. You see other shows and stuff like that talking about, and then you have interactions and stuff like that. Hey, I want the fans to get involved. I need the fans to get up here. Go to my page, go to the ASAP page, sports page, Facebook page. You see it strolling there. You see everybody's page there. You can't say you can't miss this show. This show is all around. And this show's on the World Wide Web. And it's live on the World Wide Web. I mean, we're going to take college sports into a new level here on the ASL Sports Network. This show is going to be for the fans. This show is going to be fast. This show is going to be a pace. This show is going to have great content. And we're going to have other analysts on this network jump in here. I understand this is early from people on the West Coast. I know right now we're about a 3-hour time difference. It's 6:39 in the morning, and on the West Coast. Hey, look, get up, man, get up. This is college football. This is excitement. What are the college fans really like? Hey, how do we break this show down? I mean, we're gonna have fun on this show. This show is gonna be a blast to do, and I appreciate Freddie, Henderson, who's our CEO, the admin people, Jay, me, Yoel. We have Mike. We have a lot of analysts on here, a lot of good analysts on here. They could jump in and talk about college football. If you're passionate like me, this is a show for you. This is college football. This is the haymaker of all shows. We're coming to you live, and the show will be starting at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday mornings, and we're going to jam pack it all the way up to the first football game. And right now we're 14 days away from college football. Can you feel the excitement? We got the pro pre-games. We ain't talking about pros here. We're talking about the college sports. We're talking about the kids. We're talking about Alabama. We're going to talk about Clemson. We're going to talk about San Jose State. We're going to talk about a lot of teams here in college football realm. This is not just going to be the top rated, players and, other teams and stuff, and you know we got other sports networks talking about Alabama. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to bring college football. We want fans from every school to jump on this show. We like to have people. You know, you can hit me up on Facebook Messenger. You know, you can hit me up on Ray Cruz Facebook Messenger. I'll send you the link. I'll put you on this show, and we can talk about. We'll go one on one talking about football, college sports football. And this season, we're going to have a lot of impacts. And like we're talking about here, we've been talking about the realignment of the SEC with Texas and Oklahoma. We've been talking about, you know, the joining forces with the ACC, Big Ten, what that joining forces could look like. They're talking about not joining as a conference team. We're talking about joining as a non-conference football, and that's going to give them. And I'm going to tell you what, people might put these conferences down because but they're still a Power Five conference, and that's going to give you a lot of leeway, a lot of harder schedule. Can now, what would the schedule look like next year? Will Alabama kick some of these you know, low down, easy win pickings of a team and try to put these powerhouse teams on their schedule? So that's what we're trying to get. That's what we're going to talk about here. You know, we have a little bit, you know, things come up. I get good content. We got good shows. We got a good, you know, place. We're all good here on this on the Ray Sports Show. We get this up and started. This is the first episode. So as time goes, you can see how the show might, you know, start off a little bit weak and get a little bit stronger here as we go. And as people get on, as college football starts, I'm hoping the show will start a little bit about getting some of our analysts to come on, you know, talk about college sports, talk about their favorite team. Hey, we need some insights from people from Clemson. We need insights from people from Alabama. We need Georgia. We need San Jose State, Hawaii. I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to get this out there. I'm trying to talk to fans, how they make the preparations for tailgating, what they do to get ready for college football. You know what I do for college football? You know, people think I'm crazy sometimes, but I do get my hat, you know, my little wig on, my Carolina wig. I paint my face up. If I can find a picture later on, I'll show you. You know, this is college football right here, baby. This is people dressing up, people getting ready. I want to hear people's tailgating. I want to know what they fix on these tailgates. You know, I want to see how they tailgate. You know, you send pictures. Hey, tailgate pictures would be fine on this show. Bring it all. I want to hear it all. I want to hear the insides of the fans. I want to see. I want to hear what they do. I want to see if they dress up, paint their face, how they get in the spirit of the game. You know, I want to talk to the real fans of these schools and to get their perspective on their teams. That's what we need. We need perspective. You know, not these people going out, you know, talking about, you know, Alabama all the time, you know, putting up a little bit of here, a little bit of hearsay, and going back to the SEC. This is not this. This show is going to be about talking about the SEC, talking about the ACC. Hey, we're going to even try to get down to the lower conference. We're going to talk about the football championship as we move along in the season. This show is going to be provided with some more content. You know, we're going to get started here. A little bit of rabbing here and trying to get it all over the perspective. This is just going to be a great time in college football. I'm very passionate about college football. You can't tell how I get excited about it. You know, they call me sometimes. I yell at the TV. I want to say, this is what I really want to do. Here in the next few weeks, I want to get some football fans, get some fanatic fans, get fans at perspective who gets up and yells at the television. You know, I yell at the TV. I'm gonna tell you straight out. This is my thing. I'm very passionate about college football. I'll get up there and yell at the team. I'll get up there, you know, as a fan. I might not be in the stadium, but sure enough, and I'm gonna tell you, my mom used to tell me when she was living that she called me up and she listened to a Carolina game. She said, I can hear you all the way from Florida all the way into North Carolina. That's how I get, you know, yelling loud. You know, sometimes my sister thinks I'm gonna get a heart attack because I'm yelling at the TV. Yeah, sometimes I get frustrated. I might pick up the TV and try to slam it. You know, my wife tells me to calm down all the time. You know, that's how passionate football fans really are. I want to know how you fans are really passionate about your team. I want to know your intakes, a non-analyst profession, your intake on your football team. How do you rate your team? How do you see your team play? Yeah, I'll get some NC State fans on here. I'll get some Duke fans on here. Look, you know, I'm not just going to stick around and put my guns on my team and say, hey, look, you know, my team is this, my team is that. You know, my team is up and coming. My team is not known as a football school. My team is known as a basketball school. We are starting getting up there and recruiting. Mac Brown's back. I understand that. People understand Mac Brown, what pull Mac Brown has in North Carolina. It's tremendous. I mean, he's still in touch with all the college, high school football coaches in North Carolina. I talked to I talked to one of my friends who's at my old high school. His son goes there. The coach is always talking. He might not go to Henderson, North Carolina, a little small town, Podunk town in North Carolina. The football team is really down and stuff like that. But Matt Brown still makes an effort to go to that school and talk to players and talk to, get around and introduce himself to the coaches. And I like the way he's doing it. He's bringing it back right. He was there before. He's all-time winners. Came back and made him all-time winners college football coach at the University of North Carolina, which is not a big deal because we've been down so long. And I mean, he's bringing the team back up and bringing the education, bringing the Ram back up to North Carolina. So I mean, we're back in the top 10 this year. We got to see really how North Carolina really does. We lost a two-headed monster in that running game that really produced. We got Sam Howell as one of the top quarterbacks in the country. We want to see how this is going to produce, how they're going to see. I mean, we've seen glimpses of it in that Texas A&M game. They didn't give up. They lost the game in the bowl game, but they didn't give up. The two-headed monsters weren't there. So we saw a preview of what we got coming back, and I like the bright future of the University of North Carolina. But are we going to contend this year? Yeah, it's hard to say. We got to get on the field. We got to play our rivalries. The North Carolina and NC State rivalry. It's not an easy game. Sometimes the way Carolina made it look the last 2 years. I mean, NC State had some injuries at the quarterback position. They got a good top-notch quarterback, and we're going to see if he can stay healthy. How NC State in their two-headed monster this year, they got a two-headed monster running back, and I like Parison and stuff like in the backfield. So you got to put up with that. We got to see where the Carolina defense stands up. We got to see what all these teams are. I mean, these teams are going to be early to play here. It's going to be super fun here. We're going to talk about a little bit of recruiting. We're going to talk about what we're looking for in the recruit, how these recruits come in, and sometimes they don't pan out right away. So they sit back and they have to produce and get redshirted, because some of these teams load like Alabama. I mean, Alabama's got like a farm team really coming in. You got teams come in, they can sit other players and get them redshirted because they got a top-notch team already. So they get stronger, you get play, learn the playbook a little bit better because they're not out there really strong. Now the NCAA's got these rules that came back about 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, where if you're redshirting somebody, they can play at least 5 games. You play over 5 games, you lose the red shirt. So what you can do with these teams like Alabama, they'll schedule a weak team towards the end of the season, and sometimes put these guys, who they're looking at and see where they're at, and that's a good participation to look at because you got a lot of game action film on at least one game on them to provide if they need to be still redshirted, see what the team they got compared. So every team can take that advantage, and Alabama just took it a little bit, the way they can run teams out there, 3 or 4 strong teams. I mean, all of a sudden they got these players come out of nowhere. They're up there because they got a little farm system going on. And I mean, you got the depth. So some teams ain't got depth as Alabama. Some teams are not rich as Alabama. Texas can got the money, but they don't get the recruits all the time. So, Texas has been down a while. Tennessee's been down since Phil Farmer left. And they still haven't regained. They've been through, Butch. They've been through Pruitt. And now we're going to see we're going to see Dooley. We're going to see what Tennessee can do. Can Tennessee get back into promised land? Can Tennessee get back to where Tennessee used to be? You're competing with Florida. Florida's getting back with Mullen there. He's starting to bring some that level back in Florida. Florida's been down a little bit here since the Tebow days and stuff. They've been through some head coaches, 2 head coaches, and then Mullen's got it stabilized coming out of Mississippi State back, So we're going to see what they really can do. Can Florida make dominance in the East? How will all these realignments, how these super powerhouse teams are gonna be? I mean, this super powerhouse team in the SEC right now, it's just going to be like SEC everything. If they don't extend the football, playoffs, we could very well see an SEC 3 team in just one conference. Even though they said it's supposed to be like you win your conference big is a big four, we already know it ain't a real such thing because you've seen teams win the conference and you still see SEC getting 2 teams you know, into the playoffs. I mean, you had to figure Alabama didn't win the conference one year, and what they do? They end up in the playoffs. Because they're SEC powerhouse team. They're Alabama. And what do we see here? To me, if you're playing for a national championship, that national championship has got to be for everybody, not just one school, not one conference. It's got to be for everybody. I would like to see. To me, I would like to see the top 25 teams. So you're playing for the top 25 teams, battle out. You get the number one, number two seed, then number one ranked, number two ranked. They're gonna buy the first week. You get everybody else playing everybody. The rest of the team to build it way up, and then you build it up like the football championship series. That's the really true national championship. Their top 25 play. That's their format is the number one and number two ranked in their football championship series. They sit out. They have a bye the first round. Everybody else battles out. Then you see what everybody battles out. And then the next round they join in there, so they get to play. So they battle it all out, and then the football thing. I think we should see that happening here. Take the top 25 bowls. You take the lower bowls. You play your game all the way up. As you move up, you get the tier bowls. Move them into the thing. You're not really playing at their stadium. You're playing at the bowl game. So the bowls, so the all the bowl people are not missing out on these games. They're catching revenue from these games. I mean, like the Gator Bowl here in Jacksonville. Hey, that could be one of the rounds. They could play a game there and keep moving it up as we keep producing. The championship game will be at a certain date, at a certain time, at like Orange Bowl in Miami, or like in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, or out in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, or in Tempe, Arizona, in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. I understand. We can see these how they play out, and then we can see the championship. If you put the top 25, you get at least the top 25 teams have that advantage to play for the national championship. They got to go out there and prove they can win it, but they have that chance to win the championship. I mean, that's always the fume. I mean, you got schools that are getting, some schools are playing weaker teams, and we understand that they go undefeated, but hey, they play with teams they can get on their schedule. That's what the thing is. Their scheduling. How they can get teams, how these smaller teams can get these big teams to play them, and it's kind of hard. You got Alabama, you know, to play these small school teams. Everybody else wants to try to play Alabama. Alabama goes out and schedules these teams that they think they can win at the beginning of the season to boost up their, winning percentage. And then when they get in the conference, that's what they use. They use their conference teams to get them over the hump. That's how they can play these weak teams, and because their conference is so strong. So it gets them over most everybody else because they have more Power Five wins just right in their conference. Where like the ACC has to go out and get some of these teams like the Power Five conference, put them on their schedule to boost that schedule because some of their teams in the ACC are weak, are at the bottom weak. The SEC's got bottom weak teams, but they still got more top tier teams that are good, like Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M is up and coming here on Fisher. I mean, we got to see that now when they put Texas and Oklahoma in here, and then they still got a top level teams, top five pure teams. They can still go out there and schedule these weak teams, but their conference schedule will boost their schedule up because the way they have the superpower alliance of their conference. I mean, they don't play every team, on their schedule every year. Every other year they had another team. They had like South Carolina on their schedule. South Carolina's not up and coming, right? We don't know how South Carolina's going to do under their new head coach. We don't know what kind of type of play. We got Vanderbilt still kind of weak. So are those lower tier teams at SEC got to pick their thing up? But without Texas and Oklahoma could boost their recruiting up because now they're going to get more recruits coming to SEC because they got top tier teams they want to play. If they can't get picked up by Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, and all them, they're going to start filtering down into Vanderbilt. They're going to start filtering down in Kentucky. They're going to start filtering down into, South Carolina. And that you never know, they can powerhouse their teams up by with the effects of what's coming in and how they gonna have, still got your restriction on your scholarship. So you got SEC is going to improve tremendously from top to bottom by adding Texas and Oklahoma too. So now we got to flip to the other side here. How is other teams going to counteract the SEC by what the ACC and the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the Pac-12 is doing? They're trying to commit an alliance. So now, boom, the ACC is going to have a top five team. There might not be a dominant Power Five team, but they're gonna put Power Five conference. Now they're gonna look at where they can schedule a Power Five conference team with the alliance of the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, put them on the schedule. Now they're going to make their schedule even stronger to try to reflect what the SEC is doing. So all that you got to understand here is the SEC is trying to dominate college football. They're going to try to dominate the position of who's in the playoff. They're going to dictate their conference, setting them up for the national championship in the long run. That's what they're doing. But now other conferences have to combat what the SEC is doing. And that's what the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10 is trying to do to counteract. They're trying to make alliances right now so they can play them all non-conference schedules, build their teams up that way. And then you got the other thing you got to look at here, too. The pandemic had Notre Dame into the ACC. They had a little bit of thing. Now, as we move out of the pandemic, we still in a little pandemic. Is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, are they going to be going back to their independent status, or will they play under the ACC umbrella? They still got scheduled ACC. They promised to schedule ACC teams on their schedule. But are they going to affiliate with the ACC this year? Or are they going to go back to being independent because what happened in the pandemic? Nobody wanted to play Notre Dame because they were not under a conference umbrella. They were under independence. So the pandemic hit, they didn't want to play. So for them to play, they had to join. They had to say, "Hey, we're going to join the ACC umbrella." Now our team's going to be scared to play. Have Notre Dame out there as an independent because now they're not under a regulation of a conference. How will they fold their stuff under this pandemic stuff? So we got to top a little bit of situation here with the independent of Notre Dame, who promised to play ACC schedule, who's on some of the ACC team schedule. So that's how Notre Dame boosted their schedule up a little bit because Notre Dame as an independent in football. I mean, they've got the ACC conference in every other sport besides football. I understand why they don't want to join the conference with the football because they get the NBC revenue of their own sports network through NBC. That's big money. All games are not on NBC. They still play on ABC. They still play on ESPN. But most of their realm of non-conference games that not big games and cannot put on national TV, boom, they're already on national TV as with NBC because NBC is a national broadcast entity and they get the money. They get big money from that. So you got to understand where Notre Dame is coming from in football. Would we like seeing Notre Dame join like the ACC? Yes, I like their football team, but we got to see how kind of situation we can do with Notre Dame because Notre Dame don't want to lose that revenue, and I don't blame them. That revenue is big with NBC. Their deal with NBC is big. They get, they're an independent team. They can play anybody in the NCAA. They can boost their roster up like that. That's way Notre Dame really is. Notre Dame is Notre Dame. I mean, come on. The Fighting Irish. They've been down, they've been up. Kelly's getting them on the rise. They're independent. They're not allegiant to a conference in football. The allegiance is to NBC. So we got to see what we could do to try to get Notre Dame into the ACC as a football entity, and that will boost up some of the revenue for the ACC. Hey, can the ACC come to Notre Dame and say, "Hey, look, we know you got the NBC TV rights. We won't touch that. You still have that, but you join the conference as a full-time conference participant." Boom, the ACC will get a little bit of boost with Notre Dame. Notre Dame might get a little bit of boost with their recruiting because they're on an umbrella, not independence. So you got to look at the Rams, how these college football decisions. Are the independents going to be forced to join? You still got two or three independent conference and two or three independent football teams out there. Notre Dame is one of them. Are they going to try to force these teams to join a conference? and how they can get Notre Dame. And I laid out one issue here. Tell Notre Dame, hey, you can keep your TV rights. Just join the ACC as a with the rest of your sports. You got all your other sports are ACC. Why don't you join the ACC conference? ACC will not touch your revenue and for your NBC deal. You can still keep your NBC deal. That's one entity that you can think. And you really got to spend, because the new commissioner of the ACC has got to spend their heads now, because these developments with the SEC, with Texas and Oklahoma, getting ready to join their conferences here. So now you got to counteract that. No way they counteract that is with the Big Ten, the Big Pac-12. Try to get some other boosts. Try to get Notre Dame to join them as an affiliate to the football program into there. And the way you got to do that is you have to try to work out a deal with Notre Dame and try to keep, because Notre Dame don't want to lose the TV rights, and who blames them? That TV rights is very, very lucrative, because they have their own full-time network of NBC, which NBC is now seen all over the United States. And that gives them notoriety, because, as we look at ESPN and we look at CBS, we look at, all these things. And you got the ESPN, you got the streaming that gets you the conference, all your games you can watch on their streaming. You got technology today that's spreading out through, college football, spreading out through all the agencies, and now you got live streaming of football games. So then you get all your games. If you got the providers got the ESPN package, watch ESPN. If your provider's got all your stadium, you got the stadium channel. That's a real lucrative deal here. You're getting teams. You're getting smaller teams. You can get notoriety out there. But you still got to think regional. You want to get in that national television game. ESPN, if you're in that region, certain regions get certain games, at the time. Notre Dame don't have that with NBC. NBC, boom, Notre Dame's on TV. Guess what? Notre Dame comes to every freaking state, where NBC is located. Notre Dame don't have to compete with, it's a regional game. Notre Dame's only in Indiana or Illinois or in that Michigan or, St. Louis and all that area there, because it's a regional game. NBC puts them in North Carolina. NBC puts them in Maryland. NBC puts them in California. NBC puts them in Texas. NBC puts them in Florida. NBC puts Notre Dame in Georgia. Every state NBC's in, boom, Notre Dame's in that. I don't know how Notre Dame has not cashed in on that here with recruiting, because, if a recruit wants to see Notre Dame, they can see Notre Dame when they play on NBC. Notre Dame is out there more on TV besides Alabama, when the ESPN put out, CBS between NBC, ESPN and Alabama, and then there all that stuff. But you got to understand, you're not online. You're not watching ESPN sometimes with Notre Dame. You're watching them live on television, national broadcast. Every freaking state Notre Dame's in, because that independent of NBC, helping them get out there and get that notoriety and stuff. So you got to look at how will the ACC package Notre Dame, try to get them, draw them, and put that moniker on them as a full-time ACC, not just that one time last year because of the pandemic. And that's only why Notre Dame got to play, is because they had to join a temporary join state and with the ACC to put them in a moniker so they could get the ACC schedule, so they can get to play, because nobody wanted to play it because they're an independent conference under this pandemic deal. So that was a good move by Notre Dame. Is Notre Dame going to have to be forced to do that this year because of the strain of the COVID-19 virus? How are we going to see? How is this Ram going to see? Are we going to see actual now? I know certain places are saying some of the fans are going to be limited. Are we going to see full capacity? I know here in the state of Florida, it's all full capacity, all straight out. That's what the governor has said, and the governor is leaving it up to the sports teams really to put what they want on there. And I know it's a full go for the Jaguars, in the thing. And I know University of Florida is going full go. Miami's going to go full go of their stadium. Florida State is going to do the same thing. And I want to go, while we mention about Florida State, I want to go ahead and pay some respects to Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden passed away about a week ago. and it's very sad. He's in the older statement. He was number two. He was the second in all time winningest coach behind Joe Paterno, the late Joe Paterno. And so I mean, Bobby Bowden, he brought that team to Florida State, and I've been reading here in local articles here in Florida in the papers that they are now petitioned to be Stadium Drive to be petitioned to be Bobby Bowden Drive. I understand that, and I get the sentiment. I think they should go ahead and prove. I think it should be a no brainer. I don't think a petition should have came out. I think Florida State should have came to the state of Florida and say, hey, Bobby Bowden's done a lot for Florida State, put Florida State on the map. I think we need to go ahead and just change that from Stadium Drive to Bobby Bowden Drive, and go with it. I mean, why fans has really got to petition that? I don't understand, because that should be a full blown. That should have been already done while he was still living. You know, Bobby Bowden has done so much for Florida State, put Florida State on the map, put that from the '80s on up into the '90s. If you mention Florida State, you mention Bobby Bowden, and he brought national championship. He brought players there. Players got lockers. Deion Sanders, I think his locker's in case. I think Ron Simmons, professional wrestler Ron Simmons, his locker is in case there. So when players go in there and you see these encased players, I mean, Bobby Bowden put them there, and Bobby Bowden was just a great football coach, and sustained. When you're playing against Florida State, you got disdain against because they're rivals, but you got to respect them. You got to respect these players and coaches and stuff. I mean, I can tell you right now, Coach Gay at Duke University, I can't stand him. I mean, I got respect for him because he's a great coach, but I'm a rival school. I mean, that's just a natural state that you're going to be against that rival coach. But Bobby Bowden, over the times as when I moved down to Florida here about 10 years ago, I kept reading about him, Bobby Bowden, and got to know him as a person. And, as you get to know people, and sometimes you're respective as a coach, you go from being respectfully disliking this coach because he's on the competitive field. But when you realize what he does after when he gets off the field and stuff like that, you got to respect some of these coaches. You got to respect what he's done on the field. You got to respect what he's done off the field, what he did in his life for his family. Bobby Bowden was just a class act. More power to him. Rest in peace, Bobby Bowden. Community of Florida State, we're out for you. I don't think the petition, you should have done a petition to get that Stadium Drive changed to Bobby Bowden. They should automatically done it. I think that's just notoriety of what they're trying to do and what the fans respect for Bobby Bowden. So, the late Bobby Bowden, he's going to be surely missed, but he was one of the great coaches, one of the legends of Florida State history of college football. Let's get moving right along here. Let's go into the rankings here. Do y'all really agree with the NCAA rankings? Do you really agree NCAA should rank teams, the ranking of football team too early for preseason before we get to see what they do on the field? How should the rankings should be? Should the rankings just come out mid-season after we get the first 3 weeks? How do you fans feel about the top 25 teams getting ranked right off the bat and saying, hey, because Alabama's Alabama, boom, they got 47 votes to be number one. They start off the preseason number one in the coaches poll, AP top 25 poll. You got Oklahoma number two. What do you think about Oklahoma? They got 6 votes for the first place. They got 2 in the coaches poll. They got 6. Alabama got 63. Nobody else. So now the disparity here between the coaches poll and the AP top 25 poll is already a disparity because they ranked Clemson number 2. We don't know what Clemson is going to be like without Trevor Lawrence, without Travis Etienne, without some of their core players from last year, from their 2 years of national championship team. We don't know what the quarterback. We know they got a good quarterback when Trevor Lawrence was out. He did okay. He did great. Can he take that next step level up? So I think right now that's a little bit of certain issues. We don't know how Clemson is going to really be in the, they're going to be a dominant team, or they're going to fall from the number 2 spot in the coaches poll. They're going to fall from the number 3 spot in the AP top 25. But that's why I'm saying I think that rankings of college football too early puts a lot of a lot of emphasis on teams because now you're going to watch if Clemson don't, all of a sudden don't do good and they start falling. Hey, they were ranked number 3, number 2, but really were they that number 2, number 3 ranked team? If we see Alabama lose a couple games, I'm not saying it can happen. I say it can happen, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying if Alabama loses them 2 teams, they were started out at number 1. It puts a little bit bad taste in your mouth because then you see them fall to 3 or 4 down spots. Sometimes Georgia starting at number 5 and number 4. In both polls. How good will Georgia be with JT Daniels? We've seen the glimpse of JT Daniels, but we got other aspects we got to answer about Georgia. How good their defense is. How good is their running backs? How good is their wide receivers? We know what JT Daniels did last year, coming in halfway through the back half of the season. He did great for Georgia, but now, what are we going to see with Georgia? How are we going to see what their defense is like? So, what is a right time? I'm going to ask you fans this question: what is the right time when we should see the top 25? Should we see it at the beginning of the season? Should we see it mid-season? Or should we see it close towards the bottom half of the season so we know we've seen the eye test? And when they bring these rankings out, we can say, oh, yeah, Alabama is that good. We got the game measured. Or is Clemson really that good? Yes, we have the game measured. Right now, we have these players like, Trevor Lawrence has gone to the pros. Travis Etienne is gone. We don't know how good Clemson's really going to be with all the players they have missing from the last 2 to 3 year team and last year's team. So will their quarterback produce to keep it producing like Trevor Lawrence did? We don't know that. Ohio State, how good is Ohio State going to be without Justin Fields as quarterback? We know how good Ohio State was with Justin Fields. Their defense probably take some hits with their started. Some of their starters have gone from last year's team. How will they incorporate Ohio State? We know that they got good recruits coming in. We know that. But sometimes when you got these new recruits, these analysts put their opinions on them because, hey, I think he's number 5. I think he's a 5-star. How many times have you seen a 5-star go and not being a 5-star, end up being like a 2-star, or that 5-star didn't pan out, but he was ranked he was at 5-star ranking. You got to understand when recruits come in to get these 5-star rankings, that's opinion by the sports writers, sports analysts from different websites, different opinions, different things. So, sometimes these 5-star don't meet up to expectations. Now that's going to lead into what we call the transfer portal. Guys going into the transfer portal. Hey, not getting enough playing time at this university. I'm transferring out. Let me go to this university and try to get playing time over here. What are you promising me? It's just like a big free agency pool in college football now with the transfer portal. I mean, you got JT Daniels who went from USC to Georgia. You got, certain players even going to another college, trying to get playing time. He graduated from Tennessee, Chandler. Going to be a running back at North Carolina. He's going to a graduate school that North Carolina offers. So he's got like one more year of eligibility left. So boom, he's taking his graduated from Tennessee. He gave his respect to Tennessee, graduated from, got his degree. Now he picked a degree that Tennessee don't have. So he went to now he's going to graduate school at North Carolina, playing that last year at the University of North Carolina. So I mean, you got to look at the way the football team is. Alabama's got all these recruits. Hey, some of these recruits are not getting happy. They transferring out because they're not getting playing time and because you got people in front of them. You got better players in front of them. So, sometimes if you don't make that right choice, now you got that second level because you can enter the NCAA transfer portal to go to a school that really needs you. So you got to understand a lot of Rams, a lot of implication here about college football. So to me, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion here, as an analyst and as a fan. It's way too early. It is way too early to rank teams because we don't know what team's going to be like. In number 10, North Carolina, my team. I'll give you for example. Yeah, they're ranked number 10, but they're not. We don't know what they're going to be at like in running back. We know who they're on the roster is a running back. We've seen what they had last year at the bowl game. That's just only one sample, a game sample. We don't know how that's going to transcend. I mean, Grimes, a cornerback that, that was supposed to be in high school football last year, reclassed to last year's class. Boom, show the field. He's got a bright future. He's been doing great in practice. That's just practice. That's just you hitting your own teammates and stuff like that. But your teammates are getting you better because you got better competition in your camp because you got better players recruiting. So that brings more competition. But now when they get on the field and plays like teams like Notre Dame, plays teams like Clemson, what are they going to look like against a top tier team? And we don't know that. We really don't know if Carolina is going to be a top 10 team. We know Carolina could be, in that level last year. They were in the top 16 all the way down to the top 25. But they played inconsistent in some games, like Florida State game. They started the game, there was trash, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, they picked up and they almost had a chance to win that game. You know, so we don't know how. We don't know. We know what Sam Howell can do. We know what some of the wide receivers can do. But we lost a ton. We lost Kwame Brown with wide receiver. We lost Newsom as the other wide receiver. So we got Kwame Brown's brother. We don't. I mean, we seen glimpse of it. We seen glimpse of Green. We seen glimpse of the two running backs, Henderson. We seen glimpse. We really don't know if Carolina's going to be that top tier number 10 team ranked team. We don't know because you got to get out on the field. You got to play, and you got rivalries. You got North Carolina State gunning for them for what happened the last 2 years against North Carolina State. You got Duke, who's trying to gun for them. I mean, yeah, we're talking about Duke football, but anyway, you still got a team to put out there. We don't know how they're going to react. We don't know what kind of injuries are going to come in leading in the game. You got all kinds of aspects of these teams are doing. How good is Cincinnati going to be? They're ranked number 8. How good can Cincinnati be? I mean, Cincinnati could be good. Iowa State's coming up good. Last year. How is Notre Dame going to look? Texas A&M under Fisher. He's been producing. He's been getting with the quarterback situation with Munn gone. We don't know exactly what Texas A&M got under the hood at quarterback position. We have not seen him play a live down game. So they're coming here. It hits the top 25. I'm just gonna put it out to you. And you can make comments here. You can make comments on Facebook. Hit me up. Let me know what you think about as we go down the top 25. Number 1 comes in Alabama. Alabama's number 1 across the coaches board tonight. AP top 25. You have Oklahoma at number 2. You have Clemson number 2 in the coaches poll. You have top 25 AP top 25. You have Clemson number 3, Oklahoma number 3. So they do the coaches poll and flip number 2 and number 3 around. Both polls graded number 4, Ohio State. Georgia coming in number 5 in both polls. Texas A&M number 6. AP has Ohio State at number 7 and Notre Dame at number 7 in the coaches poll. But you keep on going down in the AP. Notre Dame is number 9. You have number 7 Iowa State. You have number 8 Cincinnati. You have number 9 North Carolina comes in number 9 in the coaches poll. Number 9 Notre Dame in the AP. Number 10 here for North Carolina in the AP. AP's got Oregon at number 11. Coaches got Florida at number 11. Wisconsin at number 12. Oregon at number 12 in the coaches. AP's got Florida at number 13. Number 13 comes in at LSU in the coaches poll. Miami's number 14 in the AP. 14 is USC. Number 15 USC in the coaches in the AP poll. Coaches poll number 15 is Wisconsin. Then you got number 16. The AP is LSU. Number 16 in the coaches poll is Miami. You have Indiana coming in here. Now, Indiana did great last year. I mean, the injuries derailed them a little bit in a latter part of the season. That's what we're talking about, injuries here. College football, you have a lot of injuries, and you have a next man up mentality. You have to have that in every sport you play. The next man is going to be up. The next man, because college football is a brutal sport. You're going to have a lot of injuries. You're going to have a lot of things. You hope you recruited well. You hope your depth intact. That's what you had. That's what happened to Indiana. Indiana was not a really deep team. Certain key players got hurt, derailed their undefeated season. We would never expect if they would have made the college playoff if the two key players didn't get hurt last year. So That's what we're talking about. That is what we're talking about. That's what kind of thing elements here of college football, and that you got to understand. Rankings early is rankings early, point blank. People get discouraged saying, "Oh, I can tell you, I've seen it all over the social media. North Carolina is not that good in football. North Carolina is not that. Carolina's this. Carolina's that. Carolina's that. Notre Dame is not that. Notre Dame is not. Why is Notre Dame ranked in the top 10? They're not worth ranked in the top 10. You know, you got fights with Clemson fans. Clemson fans say, "Hey, we're ranked up in the top." Are you really that ranked team because what you lost last year? Did you really recruit a good team and propose? Because what we saw last year in the bowl game, we saw all the last year's starters. You know, some of them return, some of them don't, like Trevor Lawrence, like Travis Etienne. They do have depth in that area, but how good? We've seen a glimpse of the Clemson quarterback that's supposedly starting this year. You know, he was great in the running, that read option type. They're going to have to change their philosophy around a little bit. You know, he's got a cannon for an arm, but he's not accurate as Lawrence. So as he took another step up in practice. That's why you see two early ranked teams polls. We really don't know because you're putting a high stake on them, and if they fall out, you're gonna have fans, have social media reacting. I told you they weren't that good, but we really, if they did, if they do move up in the polls, then you see, hey, they started number 10 and now they're ranked number 2, you know, or they ranked number 6, end up being, the best, one of the best team in college football, or they could be ranked number 6 and be one of the flops that flops all the way out of the thing, and then everybody's laughing at them. So that's why I'm saying rankings are too early in the season at beginning. Now, if you really want to look at it this way too, you can look at it two ways. You can look at the top 25 pre-rankings and say, okay, this is what they think my team is going to be, and then let it go. And then when the season starts, you take that ranking, and then you look at it at the very beginning of the season, and see where your teams are flopping down, or they trending up. So that's one way to look at it here. You got one that sets a goal, what you want it to be, what you think you're going to be, and what your expectation is going to be. Then you let the polls dissolve a little bit and wait to like when the bowl championship series releases their polls. That's when you need to find out. That's when polls really need to be released. About that time, you got 2 3 weeks eye candy, seeing what they're going to be and see how they're going to think. Because about the fourth or fifth week, teams are starting to play out to their true selves. Are they going to be a contender? Or are they going to be a non-contender? And that's when you see it, because you got 3 or 4 weeks eye candy example data that you can confirm where their rankings really be. That's what the championship bowl releases their rankings, and I think that's what they should be, because you're getting your expectations at the beginning of the season in the 2 early polls. Let it dissolve, then you bring it back after 2 or 3 weeks of eye candy, what their stats, what their data is, how they've been playing, and then you can get a true poll out and say, hey, these are the true teams, and then nobody has a dispute about it because everybody has seen what you've seen. I mean, we really don't know how good, Oregon's going to be, how good Wisconsin's going to really be, Florida really going to be. We have an expectation what Alabama's going to be because Alabama's been there. Alabama's been up there every year. We know what Clemson has been for the last 4 or 5 years. Now we're going to see if Clemson can really maintain what Alabama has done on the Dabo swing. We're going to see what Trevor Lawrence has gone after 3 years and see what Clemson really recruiting is really about by bringing other players in and see if they can keep on the same winning level that Trevor Lawrence and Clemson were the 3 to 4 years. And with Watson there, you got to add Watson to the team about 6 years. So we're going to see if team is going to fall off, or if they're going to rebuild, or they are sustaining in recruiting. And like Alabama's been staying in recruiting, they had a couple of seasons that they fell with 2 losses, but they still made it into the playoffs. And we've seen, certain teams are catching up with them, like Georgia. Georgia played with them in that championship game, but you got to look at that championship game with Georgia back in the past when they played Alabama. The starting quarterback that started those games didn't finish the game, and when they put the backup quarterback in, Alabama won the game. You know, Georgia was dominated with that when they had the starter. When they versed them out, then Alabama took the control of the game, and boom, they had they were winning. They won the game with the quarterback changing out, not with the starting quarterback. So you got to understand, Nick Saban made the switch because he needed to make the switch because the other quarterback wasn't doing. Boom, they made the switch. It triggered everybody else, and they started winning the game. So coaches is going to be involved here. You got to have a great coach. You got to have a great game manager. And, the way certain coaches, Nick Saban's in your face. Nick Saban is going to be in your face. If your coordinator if you're not doing your job, Nick Saban is going to tell you about it, and he's going to tell you in the face. That's how he coaches. That's how he is. He is a game manager. He is a true head coach. He will fire up his team. He will fire up his coordinators. If you ain't done it right, if you ain't noticed when Lane Kiffin was there, and if Lane Kiffin didn't make a right call, he walked his buck down to him, pulled him down, and he called him national television. He chewed him out right there on national television. Why you call that play? Why you did this? Why you do that? Because Nick Saban is in tune to his team. Nick Saban is a winner. Nick Saban is a true winner. And that's what you got to be in college football. You got to have a game manager who knows every position coach's job, what he wants them to do, how he wants to do it, what certain calls are going to be played in the game. And that's when you are contenders and stuff. Now, Texas coming in at number 21 in the AP poll. You got Penn State at number 19. You got Washington at number 20. You got Coastal Carolina, who came up last 2 years. Yeah, they started at number 22 and 24. Ole Miss is in the top 25 in the coaches poll, not in the top 25 in the AP poll. We don't know how good North Carolina State is going to be in the ACC. They're not honorable mention. They got 14 votes in the AP, and in the coaches poll they got 27 votes. We don't know how good they're going to be because their quarterback has been injured the last 2 years during the season. I mean, they started out pretty good with him, and then next thing you know, he gets injured and stuff. So we don't know exactly how good, if he can stay healthy all season. If he stays healthy all season, they got a two-headed running back monster. So that's going to cause teams some problems too. I mean, you got to understand, Clemson's not safe in that Atlantic division this year because they don't have that security blanket they had in Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne. What is Clemson going to be successful? Clemson going to be is the ACC going to be up on the Clemson's level now because they have a sort of like an even playing field until we see some action, until we see them out there playing other teams. Can NC State this rival? Can what Florida State going to look like with the University of Central quarterback who transferred out of there now ends up in Florida State? You know how good a quarterback he was at UCF. Is that going to translate up to Norvell at Florida State? Is Florida State going to be making that predominant return into the ACC? Are they going to compete with North Carolina State, or are they going to compete with Clemson, or are they going to compete with the lower half of that team? Or what we going to see with Carolina? Carolina, Miami's great. They still got King at quarterback. Carolina dominated Miami last year. Miami is going to be returning that favor, this year. You got to see what North Carolina can do in that Coastal division with, at the beginning of the season. They kick off right at the beginning of the season with a Coastal rivalry foe in Virginia Tech. And we know they got to go up to Lane Stadium to play them. So we got to see what they could do up in Lane Stadium. I mean, the tradition of Carolina when they go to Lane Stadium has not been very friendly up there. So, I mean, Carolina could very well go to Lane Stadium and first game of the season and be off their game. Boom, they already got one loss. So, we don't know how teams are going to translate to the season because this season it's a little bit unusual because now you're going to have fans back in the stands. When you had cutouts, some people only had like a few hundred fans in the stands last year. It was quiet for the defense. They didn't have the ability of the fans yelling. And, you get those. Sometimes the fans do create penalties for people, for the defending opposing teams. When the crowd gets loud, they can't hear their snap counts. You get false starts from the offense. You get jumping off sides on the defense. The fans here back in the stands. You got to make your presence. For your team. Even your team might be down. You still got to show up for the game. You still got to be competitive with your team. Show the team that you're there to care with them. Not just there because they're winning. You got to be. What I see, with some fans here for like certain teams and stuff like that, they get really caught because they're winning. You know, um, fans don't show up because they're not winning. They don't want to pay their money to that team because they're not winning. Why are you all of a sudden a fan because they're winning? Are you a fan because they're trying? Are you a fan because you are dedicated to the school? I mean, I'm a fan from North Carolina football. I've been a fan from North Carolina for 49 years. As a Carolina fan, we have this thing. Yes, I was born to be a Tar Heel. Yes, that's true for me. I mean, my mom put it out there. My mom, always knew I was going to be a Tar Heel fan. My sister's a State fan. Just think about football, basketball. Me and my sister, I love my sister to death. I love my brother to death. My brother's a Syracuse fan. I love him to death. But when it comes down to game time, football time, and whatever, my mom had to put my sister on the other side of the room. I was on the other side of the room because sometimes me and my sister just get in a dead fight over the game, and my mama had to separate us, and we watch football. But you gotta understand. I've been to some of the North Carolina State games with my sister. My sister been to some of the North Carolina games with me. My sister got us tickets to go to a North Carolina State and Carolina game and up at Finley Carter Stadium. Yeah, I sure did. I dressed up in my Carolina stuff. Went up there with my sister. Sat in the state section because she was a State fan. That's where she got the tickets in the state section. And they all look at me like, this guy really come up here with the Carolina stuff. Man, I had a great time. It was a good atmosphere. I give them some credit here. It was a good atmosphere, good time, good family bonding. Me and my sister, and I respect their team. I respect their coaches. You might not like them. You might hate them because they're rivalries. You got some fans on both sides are irritating. I hear it every day. One day it just don't go by. I'm in a travel Facebook group with all the rivalry schools, Duke, Carolina, and State, and I hear it all the time from the State fans. Yes, oh man, y'all cheated. Y'all cheated back in there, all this stuff. I understand. I understand what North Carolina did. We all understand what they did on the academic side, but they didn't get punished for it because the bylaws and allowed them to get punished because they had other non-athletes in these classes. That's why they didn't get punished by the NCAA. They got punished by the Saxon because they're an accreditation of your college. So they got probation for a year. They served their probation, and that's what we're talking about here. Other team fans want to leave that alone because that's the only gripe they have. That's the only gripe they can get because they're not producing on the football field. Like State fans did not produce the last two seasons against North Carolina. They were talking all that junk before the game. That's what fans do. That's what we do. We talk junk about our teams. We talk back, when they produce on the field, and then they immediately go from the football field we're talking about the game to what happened 10, 15, 20 years. What happened now about 5 or 6 years ago. They're still talking about it because that's the only thing they can talk about. So you got to understand what situation with football fans and what we need to do with our team and how we need to support our team. If your team is down, still go out and support them because in the long run, that will make them feel better, and it also makes your school look better to get their big recruits and say, hey, look, we were had a down year, but look at our fans. Our fans still showed up. Our fans still packed this place. They're still showing support. Boom, that's going to take a long way when they go on a recruiting trip. Hey, when they put on the table at North Carolina University or they put on the table a school that's losing and you only see a few thousand fans, that's not a very good invitation for your school to get top recruits. And that's the thing here in college football. You want the top recruits to come to your school to make your school relevant. Not the top recruits just going to Alabama and making their school game because they see all these lime and glitter. You got to sell your university. And the way to sell your university is for the fans to show up for every sport. sell out every sport, not just half doing it, showing only like thousands of fans showing up because they're not really into the because your team is not really that good. You know, we start off the season, everybody packing the stadium, and then you see as the team loses down the season, you see the fans dwindling. And you know, I show up for every game. Well, every team I root for, I show up for every game. I mean, I don't care if they win, lose, or draw. I'm there. I'm there from the time the first quarter, the time the kickoff to the last kickoff of the game. I don't care if my team is getting blown out. I'm still there. And I can tell you instances, things that I have done when I was in college. You know, North Carolina has come down here to play in Florida at Florida State. I have bought my tickets every year that North Carolina has played down here in Florida State because I can't go all the way back to Chapel Hill. That's 10 or 15 hours away every Saturday to go watch them play in Chapel Hill. So I picked the nearest location. And I'll go see them. Like this year, I'm going to go home. I'm going to watch a couple of Carolina games in King Stadium because I want to go back home and watch some games there at Kings. I have great times at King Stadium. But this year, I'm also going to I'm going to try to go to Atlanta because they're playing Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Boom! I'm going to try to get tickets to that game, so I can be in Atlanta to root for my team because I'm there. I'm not a dedicated fan because that's what dedication is. And I like to see like teams that are like some of these small schools like Coastal Carolina. They can have like a damn year. Like this year, they've been packing their stadiums out because they've been winning. I mean, you didn't hear nothing from the Chanticleers until they started winning. You know, they've had fans there, but they're not packed out fans. All of a sudden, they started winning. They started getting the last 2 years. Their stadium's packed out to get a buzz. Now they're starting the season. I'm ranked number 22, but we really don't know how good are they going to sustain this drive, try to build them up a little bit. You know, look at Appalachian State the year when they played Michigan, and the year they beat Michigan. That put Appalachian State on the map. You know, upset school. You know, everybody wants to go now. The last few years, everybody's looking at Appalachian State. They beat North Carolina a year ago in King Stadium. I mean, Appalachian State has been that school everybody's been looking at, saying, "Hey, we're going to watch this game because we don't know Appalachian State might somehow win this game." It's that expectation that we've seen against Michigan. You put the taste in the mouth for the Appalachian State fans, and they've been getting notoriety out of it. Now look at Coastal Carolina. Look at the Chandeliers. 2 years in a running, undefeated. Boom, boom. Everybody's looking at it. Everybody's looking at it. Boom. All of a sudden, that Liberty and Coastal Carolina game was great. That's what people were looking for. The two Liberty and Coastal Carolina because they were undefeated. They were coming that clash of the little Titans. I call it the little Titan games because they were clashing little schools together. Boom. That's college football. It is college football because college football is unpredictable sometimes. We don't know, besides the Alabama, your team. We don't know. Look at Utah University. You know, Urban Meyer put them on the map a little bit. You know, they've been lifeless. Hey, they're ranked number 24 coming into the season in the AP poll. Coaches poll don't have them, ranked. You know, what are we going to see from the Utes up in Utah? Are they going to hang in the Pac-12? Are they going to be a team that puts fear in Oregon? Is there going to be a team that puts fear in Oregon State? How's Oregon State going to go against Oregon? You know, are we going to see the Ogden Stadium in Oregon packed out? I mean, I like what Oregon does with them different uniform combinations. Are we going to see the uniform combination change every year for Oregon this year? Are we going to see college pageantry? We're going to see fans. Are we going to actually see fans in there? I mean, what are we going to see this year in college football? This is an uncertain of college thing. We're going through an uncertain time. We're going through an uncertain aspect of the season. We're going through an undetermination of college turmoil. Are we going to see Alabama just run the gauntlet this year? Are we going to see no team putting a fight against Alabama? Are we going to see, Duke University? I like to see teams, that's not been a football school show up out of nowhere. That's what's something about college football. It makes a passion out of your fan base, your passion, your love. What are we going to actually see from these teams? Are we going to see Texas coming up and go from 21 up to number 10? You know, I like to see like an Arizona State move from like the number, they started at number 25 in the AP poll. I like to see them move up and, blast some people in the above them. Are we going to see Boise State come out of nowhere? Or what team is going to be that Boise State team that upset like an Oklahoma team? What is a team, or is UCF going to be any good this year? Is Houston, what they're going to stand? Nevada. How about Ball State? I mean, how are we going to see a team like Ball State come out of nowhere? Are we going to see who's this year's Coastal Carolina team? Is it going to be Coastal Carolina still? I mean, they've shown the last 3 years they're getting a fan buzz down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I have friends that are Duke fans that lives down in Myrtle Beach, and they post about the Chanticleers. They're getting intrigued down there because they live down there. They're getting intrigued of what's going on in college football down there. What's going to be this year's team? Who are we going to look at? How about University of Alabama Birmingham? We know how their football team dissolved, and then they brought them back. How are they going to do? Are they going to be any contenders? How about Deion Sanders in Jackson State? We've seen what they have done. We've seen what he has done as a coach. I mean, he's a very good coach. I mean, we have one good sample size of Deion Sanders coaching. Now, I would have loved to see Deion Sanders coach at Florida State, his alma mater. That's what I would love to see. But he went out and got Jackson State, and he did pretty good. Jackson State. How are we going to see what we're going to see this year? What are going to be the trends? I mean, you got a lot of trends out here. You got a lot of what's Franklin going to do at Penn State? Is Penn State going to turn back? Is Penn State going to falter? Is Franklin, or what's the rumor about Franklin? Every year we have Franklin. Oh, Franklin's going to leave Penn State, or what kind of coaching rumor is that? Who's going to be on the hot seat this year? Who's going to be on whose hot seat this year? Is Duke University head coach Cutcliffe, is he going to be on the hot seat this year? I mean, he had a pretty good season. The last 2 seasons have been a little bit down years for her. Is he going to be on the hot seat this year? What's his status going to be at Duke? We don't know. If Doran don't get his ball rolling at North Carolina State, is he going to be on the hot seat? What coaches are going to be on the hot seat this year? And we're going to find that time is going to tell when college football comes around. Brian Kelly was rumored to leave, Notre Dame, 2 or 3 years ago because Notre Dame wasn't producing. It's Notre Dame's going to start producing again. Fisher has rejuvenated himself at Texas A&M. When he was at Florida State, he had a pretty good season. Then in the last few years, it was down. Then last year, he brought, Texas A&M back up. So what's Texas A&M going to take a step back? What's their quarterback going to look like this year with Munn gone? So you got a lot of Trask at Florida. He's gone. What they going to look like at quarterback position? They got a lot of holes they got to fill. Teams got a lot of holes they got to fill here. North Carolina's got 2 running backs they need to fill. Who's going to step up? We don't know yet. We won't know until that first game when we get that first sample size of Carolina. Are they going to be a contender? Are they going to be a pretender? Or what they're going to be? Are they just going to flat and fall on face of the earth? I mean, that first game is going to set the tone of season for teams. Alabama's going to set the tone for this, season for their team. What are these teams going to look like when they come hit their schedule? Let's take a look here. We've been talking a lot about Alabama here today. Let's go check out week 1, and let's go to we're going to do the SEC conference here since they're supposedly the football royalty of college conference. And we're going to take a look here at I want to take a look here at Alabama here for a moment here and see if I can find it right quick here. Let's start with let me find them real quick here. Let's see here. Let's go here. Let's start with the first conference we got. Listen, ACC. Let's start with the ACC here. Week 1 school here, ACC here. What does that week one look for ACC? All right, matchup starts September 2nd. First game on the straight out of the ACC will be South Florida at North Carolina State at 7:30. That'll be on the ACC network. And that'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina, Carter Field Stadium. All right, let's put NC State on the line right now. For this game here of week one out of the ACC on September 2nd, that's a Thursday night game. What will the Wolfpack look like against South Florida? Will South Florida come and play? You know, South Florida wasn't a bad shape last year. Will NC State's quarterback live up to his expectation? Would Doran be the first team? What would this game look like in Carter Field Stadium? Packed Carter Field Stadium, because I think everything is going back packed in North Carolina. I think they're going to sell out the stadium and stuff like that. What is the expectation? I know what State fans' expectation is. What are other people's expectation of North Carolina State? Well, first you got to look at their offense. Their offense is going to be dynamic with the two running backs. They got a 2 months to hit in the running back position. At wide receiver, they got to load at wide receiver. They got to load at the quarterback position. Can the offensive line hold up where to keep the quarterback upright? If he stays upright and don't get touched that much, then his injury risk goes low. If he gets a lot of hits, then his injury risk goes high, and that puts effect in the NC State's thing. And then we move on to September 3rd on Friday. The big ESPN matchup here is number 10 ranked North Carolina goes and visits the Virginia Tech Hokies at 6 p.m. at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, North in Virginia. And like I said, Lane Stadium has not been friendly for North Carolina. You know, the expectation up there is the Sandman thing in the fourth, start of the game. The Sandman rocks the thing. I've been to Lane Stadium. I watched Carolina play a game at Lane Stadium. That stadium was rocking. Even though Virginia Tech was down that year, that stadium was still packed. The fans were still there. Sandman was blasting all over the stadium. That is electrifying the way they bring their team in. And it sets a stage in the present. What is the mindset when Matt Brown brings the team up there, up into Lane Stadium? We don't know yet. We won't know until that first game comes around and we'll see what we can do. If it's going to be a sloppy game, because there's always, every team is going to be sloppy because it's the first game of the season. They don't have a preseason like the NFL. So the first game is going to be that fill-out game. It's going to be that sloppy game. And then the second game will be a little better, but the third game will be a little bit. By the fourth and fifth game, you're seeing what your team is really about. Duke, they got to go up. They got to go up and play Charlotte. In Charlotte, they got to go up and play the 49ers at 7 p.m. That's on CBS at Jerry Richards Stadium. That's going to be a first contest for Duke. Can Duke really blow out this team? Is this team Charlotte going to be on the same level of Duke? We don't know. We don't know what Sutcliffe is. What his coaching style is barometer to be. We really don't know what Duke is going to be this year. I'm going to go through the first week here. That's on a Friday. Also on a Friday, Notre Dame, the Monarchs out of Norfolk, Virginia, will be traveling to Wake Forest. What Wake Forest will look like this year? We don't know what Wake Forest is really going to look like. We know what the coaches does. We know that scheme, and they play that slow style run and shoot. The quarterback gets up there and rides. He rides. I'm telling you, if you watch Wake Forest University quarterback, he will get the ball and he'll hold it in the freaking belly of the fullback for a long time and ride him down the line. And you don't know who actually got the ball until it's too late. So that kind of, if you can figure out that scheme, the missed motion in the backfield, the misdirections of Wake Forest, then Wake Forest could be a team to be reckoned with in the ACC. But we don't know how good they really are going to be. And Old Dominion, we don't know how good they are going to come in here and be really at this thing. I think this is going to be probably a hard-fought game for Wake Forest, but Wake Forest does come out with a victory here. And I think North Carolina State will win probably by 2 touchdowns over South Florida, and Carolina will probably win by a field goal over Virginia Tech. That's just the distinct of Lane Stadium in North Carolina's recent history in Lane Stadium. And then we move on to Saturday's matchup on September 4th. College football is heating up, baby. It's heating up. We're getting close. We're getting close. We are getting to the nitty-gritty of college football starting up. We're getting football back in our lives, and we're getting, The slow summer, starting to smell the fall. We can smell the pigs cooking. We can smell that tailgate. I already, oh man, I smell the tailgating coming. You got the beer flowing and everything else. I can smell the tailgate. I can smell it coming. Mm. College football, man. This is all about college football. You know, you got your college football on Saturday. Ain't nothing but waking up about 7:30, getting your tailgate, getting your club, taking that trip up to your favorite college spot, put your spot in your tailgate, put your meat on. Yeah, before even before noon, before you get time to get lunch, you can smell everybody's cooking that pork bellies, you know, your Boston butts, your ribs, your chicken, your hot dogs. You know, some people even get there before breakfast and they cook their breakfast there, and then they cook their dinner, their lunch, and then after the game they still there, you know, dwelling well, reminiscing what happened in the game, getting that tailgate party on. That's all about college football, man. College football is the time to get. If you're a college football fan, you are now getting excited. And like I said, college football right now, it's not just the season. It's 365 days around the year. You get the recruiting. You see what the recruits are coming in. You want to know what they're anticipating. You see the spring, spring practice. You know, that's when you get your first glimpse of the early entries into your college. You get to see your next level team playing. You get the little report. You get the spring. You get the little taste. You get the little taste of that spring practice game. Then that ends that spring practice. Now you got to wait a few more months. Boom, you get the fall practice coming in. You get the game time practice. You get the real thing coming in. You get what see what your team is separating. You get to see hear the reports of injuries, people getting injured and stuff like that. Now you get now we get into the nitty gritty. Who's going to be available for that first game, that first contact, and you get to see another team. You get to hit another team player, not your own teammates in practice. Now you're getting that fear. You're getting that smell when you enter that stadium. When that Sandman blasting, when you're a visiting team, you hear that Sandman blast. Now you're ready to get out there and compete. You're ready to put that Sandman in the tailgate and take that first victory out of there. Or if you're North Carolina State, you're looking at the South Florida. It's a good expedition here. The South Florida Bulls coming in. Are you going to be the stepping stone where Florida, South Florida steps on you and takes your pride at your home stadium? Or where NC State take their pride and blast them and say, hey, look, you see what we did to them? You're next. You want to put that fear in your next opponent. How are you going to put that fear in your next opponent? When you play, are you going to blow out Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech and say, made a statement, say, hey, look what we did at Virginia Tech. Now we're going to come for you. Are you going to be on that schedule? Be ready. College football, man. Come on now. We know college football like it ain't nothing. We know it's going to be powerful. This show has got you covered from game one all the way to the national championship. We're going to have things going here. We're going to have people popping in. We're going to have people getting excited. When football gets back, you hear a lot of chatter. You get a lot of Facebook. You get a lot of your friends. Hey, what do you think about you get your friends on your Facebook, start hitting you up. Hey, you see what my team did? Hey, you see what my team did? You're getting a big fist fight, and then all of a sudden you're fighting. You're getting that territorial. You're getting your plays. You're getting everything. You got the Alabama fans saying, hey, nobody's going to beat us. Boom, all of a sudden Alabama losing. You go back at them and say, hey, look, somebody did beat you. Or you can be Alabama and say, hey, look, we dominated this thing, from end to finish. We got Clemson fans, dominating the ACC talks. You got who's gonna put these team fans down and put them down in your thing? Is your team gonna do it? We got it covered here. This is gonna be a fire out season right now. Let's finish up here. You got Colgate versus Boston College. I think Boston College is gonna win this one pretty big. Now the key matchup here. All talks off, Hurricane fans. Your Miami Hurricanes. Here you go. It's time to put up or shut up. Number 1 Alabama versus Miami. Ranked number 14. That matchup is the beginning of college football season when they got two top ranked teams in the top 14 team in the nation going up against each other on Saturday, September 4th at 3:30. This game is on ABC and it's played in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. This is a neutral site game. Can the Miami Hurricanes, with Sean King at quarterback, upset Alabama? And this is I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this game right now. This game right here could be a setup game. If you want to get Alabama's a good team to get picking at the first beginning of the season because they're probably going to play sloppy. Every team is going to play sloppy. Can Sean King and the Hurricanes upset Alabama? No. I think Alabama's going to win by 2 touchdowns. That's just my opinion because I don't think Miami's team is going to match up. I don't think Diaz is going to match up as coaching against Saban. I think Alabama's coming in there with this mystique. Now, if Miami shows up and starts slapping them in the face, will Alabama back down? Or will Alabama still kick up and go? I think Nick Saban's going to still kick up and go. So right now, this is going to be a contender. I think Miami is a pretender right here in this game. I think Alabama wins by, I'll give it a percentage. I'll say about 10 points. I'd say it'll probably be 10 points. I think Miami will probably cover the spread. I don't think Alabama's going to dominate them. So, but the question is, what Miami team is going to come up and play? What Alabama team is going to show up? That's going to be the question for that game. And then rest of the game in the ACC for that on Saturday. UMass at Pitt. I think Pitt is going to destroy UMass. Syracuse at Ohio, not Ohio State, at Ohio. I think Syracuse could win that game. We don't know how Syracuse is going to be. We don't know how. I think Ohio is a very good team also, but I think they could give them a run for the money. But I think Syracuse win by a field goal. Then the next game here on the bat. This is a primetime game, 7:30. This is on ABC. This is at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. The number 5 Georgia Bulldogs versus the number 3 Clemson Tigers. And this is the game that I have circled on the counter for Clemson right now because I want to see how Clemson plays without Travis Etienne, without Travis Lawrence. What Clemson's defense going to do to J.G. Daniels and the Bulldogs? Is the Bulldogs a pretender, a contender, or Clemson a pretender, a non-contender? That's going to be the game of the week right there. Can Georgia, J.T. Daniels, and their defense stumble Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers, and they're out of the box without their star quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, who is now with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Are we going to see Clemson fall? Or are we going to see Clemson dominate? And are we going to see this is going to be a good game? I have a big opinion about this one. I think Georgia wins by a touchdown. And JT Daniels throws a touchdown in the fourth quarter to win the game. That's my prediction for that game. We're going to see if I'm right. We're going to see how many games I lose this week. Out of this week here, I'm going. I'm going to tell you my picks. I'm going to read some of my picks right now. I have North Carolina State winning by a touchdown. I have Carolina winning by a field goal. I have Duke winning by a touchdown. I have Wake Forest winning by a field goal. I have Boston College destroying Colgate. I have Alabama beating Miami. I have Pittsburgh beating UMass. I have Syracuse beating Ohio. I have Georgia beating Clemson. And I have an upset right now. I'm going to call it right here. Northern Illinois is going to upset Georgia Tech at Bobby Dodd Stadium at 7:30 on the ACC channel. You heard it right now. Northern Illinois will win that game. If I'm wrong, I'll come and tell you I'm wrong. But I'm having a feeling that Northern Illinois will beat Georgia Tech. And then we're gonna look at Virginia. I think Virginia will beat William Mary. That's a 7:30 game on the Watch ESPN app. And then we're gonna have Sunday football. Yes, not that other league. No, not the professional league. We're staying in college. This is the college show. Number 9, Notre Dame at Florida State at Doak Campbell Stadium. And this match is going to be a little bit of emotional matchup because Bobby Bowden, they're probably going to do some dedication to Bobby Bowden during the game. It's going to be a emotional game. I think Florida State is going to be up for a task. We're going to see what the USC transfer quarterback can do. We're going to see what Novell has done as Notre Dame progressed a little bit more because they got a better quarterback. Will this be an exciting thing here? What will we see from Notre Dame? Will we see a top-notch team of Notre Dame? Will we see a number 9 ranked team Notre Dame? Will we see Florida State pummel than Notre Dame? I'm going to say here, since it's an emotional matchup, I'm going to say the motion is going to run fly on Florida State. I think Florida State will win by 3 points on a field goal. Last second field goal. I just feel that Bobby Bowden's going to be in that stadium that night, and Bobby Bowden's going to have that one last win in his memory. And then I think the Florida State will play the hearts out because they have that probably going to have a Bobby Bowden patch on their heart, on their uniform. And I think Florida State is going to have that one Florida State moment. And I think Florida State can pull this upset by 3 points. And then we got the Monday night football game. No, not the other league. I'll take that out of your mind. We're talking college football, baby. Not the other league. We're talking college football. And that's going to be the Louisville versus the Ole Miss game. We know we had Ole Miss in the coaches poll at number 25. Is this going to be the team that our White going to pull that Appalachian magic in Louisville? I think Louisville will win this game. I think it's going to be a last-second field goal. I think Louisville's got the advantage here. But they're playing also. This game is also going to be played in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So Atlanta's got 2 games in the first week, and at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So it's going to give them a national crowd, for this game. So that's my pick right there. So how many wins I'm going to take out of this? Well, I'll go undefeated in the ACC for picking their schedule the first week. Well, time will tell. You got to stay tuned to this show because when these games are coming, we're going to tell you all about them. When we get the matchup going, we're going to go through the numbers, we're going to go through the tail, and we're going to say, and if my picks change for what you see right now. Here, this is 2 weeks out. 14 days out of college football, man. We're getting there. We're getting a time crunch. I'm going through the schedule. I'm telling you what I got. If I change my mind here, because I looked at some of the numbers, I look at some of the matchup, look at some of the head-to-head, I look at the injury reports. I'll tell you all about it here on this show. This is what college football is all about. If you're passionate about college football, this show is for you on the ASEP network, the sports network. I mean, we got our websites going. We got the Facebook page going. You can see my Facebook page. You can see we wanted to hit the network Facebook page first. That's the first and foremost thing. My page is secondary. You want to hit the Facebook page of the ASEP play. This network is moving. This network is going. We got you covered from college football. We got you covered from NFL football. We got you covered with Major League Baseball. We got you covered with hockey. We got you covered with wrestling. If you're a pro wrestling fan, we got you covered there. We got you covered, soccer. We're trying to get, if you know anybody who's an analyst who wants to join the network and try to get, MAA, UFC, anything about UFC. Hey, we need some people, we need some analysts there so we can get some show. We got to get these sports covered. This place is hopping right now. And this is only a new show that's starting that first episode. I mean, we got people coming in, we got people going out, we got people loving this thing. Hey, drop it down. Hey, you see this thing on there and you like it? Hey, share it with your friends, man. Just pick the thing and hit share. We got to get the word. And the best word of mouth is our fans getting it out there. Our analysts is getting it out there. Our team is getting it all out there. We need the fans to help out. We need the fans. You're a fan of a show on this page, click the share button. Share with your friends because we can add more people here. And as you get more people here, things are coming. Things are coming big for us. This is a big time network. We're promoting this network very hard. We got unlimited shows. I mean, we got our Real Talk show. We got Bring It. We got, Full Count. Is your baseball show. You got the Ray Sports shows. It's going to be your college football here starting on Saturday. We got your pro football. The Touchdown Club is coming up tomorrow. Hit it up, man. Everything's on our website. If you go down, you hit the show, you got the time, you got the date, you got the ticker. You got everything. It's lined out on our new ASEP sportsnetwork.com. Go check it out. If you like it, man, share the link with your friends. Hey, man, word of mouth. We got to keep it going. We keep it going, man. Freddie started a good thing. We took it from his vision. We took it there. We moved it a step closer. Hey, each step is moving closer and closer to the final product that we want. And we need to keep it moving. And this is the only way we can move it is to have our fans helping out, having our analysts helping out. And this show is one of them that's up and running. And if you really like college football, this show is going to be for you. And hopefully next week we get everything lined up. This is going to be a 2-3 hour show. It's going to go lead all the way up to the first kickoff. And then we're going to come back. And I've been working on some here, trying to figure out if we could do a post-game show or not. But if we do, I'll let you know on this show because this show will probably be the post-game show also. So, we're going to get you before the game. and we're gonna try to get you after the game, and we're gonna go and we'll go see our morning picks, and then in the evening we'll come back and show, hey, if we were right or wrong, how many picks, and we're gonna keep it up. And if I get guesses on this show, analysts who comes and want to pick a game and stuff, we're gonna run a tally, and we'll update everybody here. How's everybody doing in the network? If they want to pick college football games with us, as they come on. So this show is going to be really a great show, a great time. This is, a big plug for the network. Let me do this, and this is a very passionate. We were talking about college football, but if we were talking about the pigs and the freaking, on the grill, we're talking about driving up to your favorite hangout, where you watch your sports at. Hey man, come on! If you want to get on the show, man, put some comments in the comment section here. It brings it up. We'll read it on the show. We'll interact with each other. Hey, it's all about college football and the fans, man. If you ain't got no fans, you ain't got in college football. If you ain't got a good show like this, you ain't got a college football. You want to know your updates. You want to know your injury before game time. This is the place to do it. We got 14 days before first kickoff, and keep moving right along here in this show. So that was the ACC. Hey, guess what? We're gonna go to American Conference. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. You ready? Are you ready? The American Conference, baby. Yes, you heard it here. The American Conference. We're going to go down the line of all the conference, all the way down till we get to 14 days worth. Let's keep going here. We're going to talk about Temple. We're going to talk about Rutgers. Hey, they're playing on Thursday, September 2nd. This is a 6:30 game on BNT, the Big Ten Network. Rutgers in the Big Ten going to Temple. I think Temple's going to upset Rutgers, and there you go. I think Rutgers are going to have a decent team on Shambo's coming back to where he led Rutgers into a promised land, had Rutgers up there when he left, and he comes back now. Can he bring that same stint that he had the first time at Rutgers? I think so, but it's going to take time. I think Temple's in the right move, and I think Temple's going to upset him here. How about UCF versus Boise State? Now, we got a little bit here. We got a little bit of the history right now. Boise State, we know it's a big upset team. The big upset team and stuff. UFC on the recent history, upset team with had Foster. But here we go. Ready? Are you ready? UCF upsets Boise State. Yeah, I had you there. I know I had you on the little cusp. The little Montone, and then bring it up. You thought I was going to pick UCF. You thought I was going to pick that Boise State. I think UCF is going to beat it because they're playing in the bounce house in Orlando. They're playing at UCF. Boise's got to travel that long way. It's first game of the season. I think UCF has got the personnel that can upset Boise State, so I'm picking UCF. We already covered the South Florida and North Carolina State. We already know North Carolina State. I had them picked. Baby. How about this? East Carolina versus Appalachian State. You got Greenville, North Carolina, traveling up to Boone, North Carolina. East Carolina is located in Greenville, North Carolina. Appalachian State is located in Boone, North Carolina. You got to go from the beach to the mountains. The beach to the mountains. But guess what? This game is played in Charlotte. So you're going to go from the beach, the mountains, to the flat hills, to the panhandle, to the Queen City of North Carolina, the Bank of American Stadium, and you got East Carolina versus Appalachian State. Appalachian State blows out East Carolina. That's how good Appalachian State, I think, it can be this season. I think they're back to the season where if they play a Power 5 team, they could probably pull that upset. I think that's the thing. East Carolina's down. East Carolina don't have the manpower, and Appalachian State blows out East Carolina. And Appalachian State will win their matchup in the state of North Carolina. How about UC Davis and Tulsa, the Rockets of Tulsa? That's why I said the Rockets of Tulsa. Tulsa slaps them, puts a rocket on them, blasts them out of the stadium. Tulsa wins it big. That game is on Thursday, September 2nd at 7:30. That will be on the ESPN Plus. So if you don't have the Plus, you're not going to be able to watch this game. But hey, or you can come over here and we'll keep you, while we're running ticker. We've got a scoreboard on our thing. You can catch all the college scores going on our website if you want to keep it up to date or if you're on the move. And best part of our website is you can take it on your mobile phone because everything shows up on your mobile phone. And good thing about it is, I'm going to show you something here in a minute. I'm going to show you something about the website here. That makes us set apart from everything on a thing. See right here, the running score ticker. All you gotta do is get it there. You keep all your scores up to date right there on the ticker. How about that? That is something that you don't see on most sports first page is a running ticker like we have here at the ASAP. And that's why you want to come to the ASAP network. That's why you want to come here and see what we got going on here on the network. This network is going to be blasting. We are good here. College football is coming. I can smell the colleges. I can smell that food. I can smell everything cooking. Hey, man, you know what? I bet you can too. How about that? I mean, I probably got Freddie watching this show right now, and he's probably sitting back. He's like, "Aaron Cruz got me hungry already." He said he's probably gonna run out to the store and get some ribs, but don't run out until after the show's over. Sit right there. Don't do it. You don't want to leave a moment because you don't know what happens. Something crazy could happen on this show. Really, something crazy could really happen on this show. You never know. We might have somebody pop in, pop out. Freddie probably sitting back laughing because, I'm a kind of pick on Freddie a little bit here. Freddie told me last night, I'd say, man, why don't you pop on the show? Talk something about college football. He said, I'm not really a college fan. I really don't know too much about college football. I said, Freddie, man, get on here. Come on the show, man. You can sit down and you can talk. Hey, we can talk about the good times. We can talk about tailgating. Because Freddie likes to eat. I like to eat. Jay likes to eat. You got people like to eat on here. But I bet you right now, I got people running out trying to get that grill ready. Because college football is in the air. Guess what's in the air too? Barbecues. And I tell you what, I know you go to tailgate parties. I know you go to tailgates. I know you go around and try to sample everybody's food at the tailgate because that's all you getting great food and stuff. Hey, look, when I tailgate, I bring that grill. I bring the steaks. I bring the ribs. I bring the chicken. I bring the Boston butts. I bring the I'm the one that clogs your artery up, basically. Because I'll get there. Sometimes I get there early. I'll bring out the pancakes, the bacon, the eggs. Hey man, ain't nothing about it. That Saturday morning, you're sitting there in that tailgate, in that parking lot about 6:00 in the morning, because some stadiums will open up at 6:00 in the morning for your tailgate. You get in there, you cook your breakfast. You get there, you got your breakfast settled in your stomach. You get there and you eat that breakfast about 7:00 in the morning. At the stadium, you get the smell. You get the that fresh air, the sunlight, the sunrise. Oh man, you got that taste in your mouth. Then you sit there and you're cooking on the grill, and you really, really, really thinking about it. And you got that grill setting up, and you got that cooking. You got to get out there early, and you got to cook that ribs, man. That ribs, the slow cooked ribs. That smoker got that smoker going. That smoked ribs. Oh man, you got to get 8 hours. You got to get there. You got to get up early in the morning, start cooking that ribs at your house. Then take it to the thing, finish it up there at the stadium, get that grill, and then falls all the bone, man. You get that groovy, and you watch the visiting team fans walk by your tailgate, and they be looking at you like, "Yeah, man, you want to come and eat? You want to taste some of this?" And they don't want to taste it because you get the other team's fans. You don't want to taste it, but you get them over there and you win them over. Ooh, you win it over and you smell it and you eat it. That's college football, baby. That's college football burning your mouth. College football is bringing out this pork belly on you, bringing out this stuff. You get there, you eat, you drinking your beer, you getting lit in the parking lot. Next thing you know, you walk to that stadium. You got that stadium wall. You got that tradition. What is your tradition? My tradition is when I go to a Carolina game, I always go visit the old well. We got the old well on the North Carolina side. I go there, I pray there, I go there, and then we have what you call the Toontown. The Carolina football team walks down the middle of the campus to from the buses down to the Kenan Stadium on the Carolina March, clapping the fans' hands, getting them ready. Oh man, that just is just beautiful. How about the Ohio State? You got the band marching in the stadium. You got that dude going around and he dotting that I. Man, Ohio State fans getting lit up for that, man. You know, how about the cowbells down in Texas A&M? You know, you got the Michigan State, Mississippi State got the cowbells ringing in the thing. That things are annoying when they come here and they got them ringing in. That was just annoying. How about the Oregon Ducks with the tradition of changing their uniforms, the different colors, the different things? How about how about um how about the how about the freaking what is some of these traditions? I want to get some of these traditions from these different colleges. What are their traditions? What are the fans and their traditions they do thing? We got the Carolina, we got the Tar Heel, we got the Toontown, we got the Tar Heel March where the football team walks down the campus clapping the fans from the bus into the stadium. What is the different college? Everybody's got their own little walk, their own little niche. What they do before games. My day, like I said, I go and pray before every game. I go to the old well in North Carolina. I'll pray at the old well. That's just something I do. Take the water, take a cup with me, take a water out of the water fountain, and then I'll sprinkle it on my head and get it all ready. And then I go back to my tailgate. I sit there and get very prep. I paint my face. I get my face all painted up. It's that college mentality. You get your face painted up, you get your war paint on. I call it the war paint. I get my Tar Heel war paint on, and then I put my wig on. Yeah, I put my wig on here. Yeah. Who's crazier? Who is crazier? That's right. That's right. I put that on. I paint my face up. And I get my cut off shirt, my Tar Heel cut off shirt I got. I walk into the stadium. I am lit. I got people looking at me like I'm crazy right now. You probably think I am crazy because this is what I wear. I'll paint my face all the way up. I get it going, babe. And the next time I'll bring a picture of me with my face painted up, my war thing, and I'm taking off. I even go to restaurants sometimes and watch the game. In a sports bar, I'll dress up like this, put my war paint on, and I'll go to that sports bar and I'll sit there and everybody look at me like I'm crazy. And camp, college football fans are passionate fans. They get crazy for their teams. And that's what it's all about, college football. And that's why I said this is the show for you. If you want to get crazy with me, you can. If you want to come on, hey, look, I'll tell you what. When the season starts, before you get up and you want to come on here with all your makeup on, with all your war paint on, hey, come on, man. This is college football, baby. We'll talk war here. We can get it all going. Ain't nothing about this. This is for the fans. This show is run for the fans. This is for the fans. This is for the true fans. This sports show, this college football show is going to be nothing that you have seen before. I mean, you got your ESPN game days. You got them seriously sitting there. You got nobody being this, dressing up like this, putting the wigs on in there, sitting down talking about college football, talking about the tailgate, the smell of football in the air. Don't you smell it? I smell that 14 days away from college football. How about that? Anyway, let's keep moving right along here. You have on Saturday in the American Conference on September 4th, you have the number 2 Oklahoma versus Tulane. Oklahoma kills Tulane. Anyway, Miami of Ohio versus number 8 Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati destroys Miami, Ohio. The interesting start. Here we go. We're getting the interesting game here. The Navy versus Marshall. This game is played at the Navy Marine Corps in Annapolis, Maryland. I'm kind of partial to Navy because I was in the military. I was a Navy veteran, and I'm kind of partial to I like to run in the options because that's what I ran in high school was the option. The option that you get in the wishbone. This is called the triple option. So and remember back in the old days when you had the wishbone, the fullback, the two running back. You don't know who getting the ball. You don't know the fullback getting the ball. You don't know the other running back getting the ball. The other one they're getting there. They confuse souls. That's why I like Navy, man. That's why I like Navy because Navy runs that old school option, triple option, with a little bit of twist into a little passing. I think the Navy wins by 2 touchdowns over Marshall because they're playing at Navy, and that's the thing about Navy football because they will play you to sleep with that option. Time of possession, they destroy you. If you can't get Navy, if you win the time of possession against Navy, you can win that game. If Navy wins that time of possession, it's going to be kind of hard because you're going to be tired in that fourth quarter. Navy wears you down. And I think Navy's going to have a better team this year, and I think Navy will beat Marshall. And then you got the pride of Texas. You got Texas Tech versus Houston. Who's going to win this battle in Texas? Will it be Texas Tech or will it be Houston? I think the Red Raiders are going back to the Air Raiders. And I think Houston is going with the Houston Cougars with their running style / passing style. I think this is a toss up. I pulled the upset. I think Houston's going to win by a field goal. How about Nichols and Memphis? Memphis is going to destroy Nichols. And then Aberdeen Christian versus SMU. SMU has changed coaches. Boom, SMU back on top. I think SMU wins by 7. So that is your American from week 1. We'll come back and we'll look at this here and see what my prediction and how many wins I come out of this one here. Uh-oh. The next conference I'm going to deal with in the first week will be the Big 12 Conference 2021 schedule. Starting off, we have South Dakota at Kansas. Kansas is going to win this game. Mark my word. Kansas will win this game by a field goal. Not a big margin. South Dakota could hang in there. But I think Kansas win because Kansas is not really a powerhouse football team. They're trying to get that way. They're not there yet. They're going to win this game by 3 points. We already talked about Tulane losing to Oklahoma. Now this is getting interesting. On that Saturday, September 4th at 12 o'clock on FS1. That's Fox Sports 1. It'll be Stanford versus Kansas State. I like Stanford. I like Brian Shaw's offense. I like Kansas. I like their style of offense. But this game is played at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And I think Stanford will come in there and pull this victory over Kansas State. Oh, how much? Oh, I forgot to tell you the score, huh? They win by 2 touchdowns, 14 points. How about the Maryland and West Virginia? This game is played at Maryland Stadium. Used to be called Bird Stadium. Now they call it at Maryland Stadium. What is this thing? This game is at 3:30. This game is on ESPN. We got the West Virginia Mountaineers coming into Maryland to play the Maryland Terrapins. And I think West Virginia will come in and pull the upset. But the quarterback from Maryland is the brother of the former quarterback for Alabama, who says they are a little bit better than his brother that's playing in Miami right now. So if he is that good, Maryland could stay in this game. But I think West Virginia is a little bit hungrier, a little bit wittier, and a little bit passionate. And I think they have the ability to come into Maryland Stadium in College Park, Maryland, and upset the Terps. Now we're getting a little bit gritty here. We're getting the battle of the Iowa. Northern Iowa versus number 7 Iowa State. This is on the Big 12 / ESPN Plus. This game is at 4:30. This game is at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. That place is starting to get hard to play in, and I think it's the first game of the season. I think Iowa State could be legit, and I think they're going to blow them out in this game. This will be a blowout game. I think this will probably be the 42-0 game we're looking at, and I think Iowa State will just run them out in the first quarter. So now we're getting to the number 23, Louisiana, the Running Cajuns, at number 21, Texas. This game is at 4:30. This game is on Fox. This game is at DKR, Texas Memorial Stadium. I think this game is going to live up to its billing of number 23 versus number 21. But I think Texas got a little bit of a power edge playing in the state of Texas. I think Texas will win. I think Texas will probably win by 6 points, maybe. But it's going to be a real play game, and it's going to be a good battle in the top 25 teams. And I think the Running Cajuns is going to be there at the end. I think because they're just that football team that could play with some people and can stay in some games. But I think Texas will win it by 6 points. We already talked about the Houston, Texas Tech. How about Missouri State and Oklahoma State? This game is at 7 p.m. This game is at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. The Cowboys of Oklahoma State and the Missouri State. I think Oklahoma State gets them. I think they get them big. I think they jumped on. I think they put this game away by the end of the second quarter. Oklahoma State big, 56-0 over Mississippi State. Over Missouri State, I'm sorry. Baylor. What is Baylor going to do this year? What is Texas Tech going to do this year? Well, I'll say Baylor wins out this game here. I don't think it's going to be close. It could be, but I think Baylor's too good over Texas State. This game is played at the Bobcat Stadium here, and I think Baylor goes on the road, and I think they upset. I think they beat Texas Tech, and I think it's going to be very handily. And then TCU at Amon Carter Stadium. I think TCU is getting back. I think Patterson's going to have his team ready. I think this team is not going to be close. They're going to beat Duquesne, and they're going to beat them big. I have a feeling this game's going to probably be out of hand and probably be 62-0. And I think they're going to get it. I think this game is going to be put away right after the first 3 series of this game. I think this team is going to be down by two or three touchdowns by the end of the first quarter, and it's just going to go downhill for Duquesne. And I think TCU is just going to win this game out. So that's the first week of the Big 12. We'll see how I stand here. This has been a great show so far. I feel the confidence here. This is going to be good. I have some analysts who said that they are going to be popping in and out, next week probably. I understand this is going to be a little bit hard for people on the West Coast because they got to get up early in the morning. That's why I did a 3-hour show. Try to pop them in within some of the hours around maybe 10, 11 o'clock hour. I can get some feeds from the people from out west. Try to get some of the feed for the Oregon State game and the Pac-12 games in Arizona area. And, some people got lives to live on. I understand that. And they can't be on here all the time. That's why I did a 3-hour show, too, to get some of the analysts pops in, pops out. And we can talk certain areas and get some aspects of certain fans and stuff. So you hit the comment section here. If you're listening on Facebook, hit the comment section. If you're on Twitch, you can hit the comment section. It'll come. I'll read it. I can get it. If we get some fans wanting to come on and interact, you got to be I'm going to set a ground rules here for this. If I do allow fans to come on here and interact, you have to be professional. You cannot be talking about, other team is really trash or being disgraceful or being thing. You got to have professionalism when you come on here. You got to be, inclined on with your team. Get excited about your team. You can do it in a certain way that you don't have to be unprofessionally, stuff. So that's one thing we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it professional. We're going to keep it level. You're going to get, I want to see the fans' excitement. Hey, man, like I said, hey, if you got a face paint up or you got some kind of war paint or you got some kind of things you wear in college football, put it on. come on the show, man. We want other team fans to see how you dress up for your game. What is some of your rituals? And that's going to be some of the segments that we're going to go. Some of the segments are fans' ritual, what they do before get ready for a big game. When they go down in the stadium or if they watch it at a sports bar, what, do you get excited? How you watch the game? Me, I dress up all the time when my team plays. I go to a local sports bar. Um, I'll go there, and everybody looks at me like I'm crazy because I got war paint on and everything. Yeah, I'm watching on television. Hey, that's just how I am. I'm a passionate college football fan. I'm passionate for my team. Win, lose, or draw, I'm passionate there. If they're having a bad season, I'm still there. I don't tune out any games. I watch from kickoff to the finished kickoff to the last play of the game, and that's the way I roll here. We can be blowing teams out. We can, that's how I roll. That's how I watch football, man. I'm a fanatic of college football. I like playing the NCAA games. I haven't played in a while because the PlayStation 3 is I kind of got rid of that. And my PlayStation 4, my kids kind of destroyed that. So, I can't, so I can't play my college football game, NCAA 14, that I've been playing for 7 years now. And so, but like I said, players are now getting paid for their likeness. They're getting sponsors. NCAA has lifted that moratorium up for them. And now NCAA, EA Sports is now talking about reliving their NCAA game. I can't wait. If that comes to fruition, if they get the college football back in the game, I'm going out by my PlayStation 5. I'll put that game on, and all we will play it. Hey, look, I'm going to tell you what. If they do get a college football game on next year, I'll play it. I'll play a few games on this show. Yes, I got it. I can get it all set up where I can play a little bit of game on college football games, and then we'll have some reaction, from the game, and we can simulate some of these games and actually on the show here, and show you exactly if the NCAA football version game is same as the real game, and we can simulate some of the scores and get you updated on some of the games you want to see. And put it in your comment section, and then we'll bring it on to here, and we can simulate some of the games here and see what the final score is going to be. So that's some of the good technology we can get up in here in the show that's going to be coming. More and stuff involved in the show, get more fans involved. I mean, this has been a great show. This has been a great 2 hours and 17 minutes so far. It's been great interaction. I've been feeling college football all day long. I slept last night like a baby. I knew I was getting up because guess what? I can smell it. I can smell it at college football. I can smell it. One of my lights just fell. Because I'm pounding the table because I can feel it. I mean, college football is in the air. Are we ready? Are you ready for college football? Are we getting excited? Can you feel the pressure? Can you feel the tailgate? Getting that cooler full of your favorite beverage. Reach down and grab it and get it to you. Are you getting your fans? Are you getting your friends all together? Are you going to your friend's house on the away games? Are you going to the stadium? How are you living this year's college football? Are you going to be there? Are you ready? Are you ready for some college football? This show is for you, man, because we're going to hit tailgating. We're going to hit the college games. We're going to get you ready for your game. Hey, hit me up. Let me know who your favorite team is. Put it in the comments section. Go to their website. Go to our website. Go to asapsportsnetwork.com website. Go to our page, ASAP All Sports Play on Facebook. Go to our YouTube page. Like our YouTube. Subscribe to it. Go to our Twitch. Subscribe to that. Hit everything ASAP, man. Hit everything ASAP. Everything ASAP you hit, you can share the links to your friends. Get it going because this show right here, baby, this show right here is going to be big. This is going to be a big time football show here, and we're getting it started right now. We're 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks away. I can smell that pork butt riding right now. I can smell it. That's 24 hours cooking right there before you even get to the stadium. They got to cook that 24 hours. You got to get that smell. You got to get it. What are you going to do? I'm telling you, man, this is going to be great. Hey, man, if you're on the West Coast, I know this show is going to start at 6 o'clock in the morning, at 9 o'clock on the East, 8 in the Central. Hey, let's get up, baby. It's football, man. Hey, you already slept. You slept all summer long. You slept at the end of the football season last year. You've been sleeping, you've been getting your rest. You know this day is coming, and football is coming back. State fans, you can get on here. Duke fans, you can get on here. Oregon Ducks fans, you can get on here. Come on, man. Even bring the Sooners fans on here. How about the Longhorns? I'm gonna tell you what. I would like to get a Wolfpack. I'd like to get these team rivalry fans, put them on this show here, and then we can have some interaction. We can talk about, what makes you a passionate fan for your team. What makes you a passionate fan for this? We could talk about, you know, what does people in Texas do to get ready for a football game? What kind of tailgating y'all have at Texas University? Then you don't have at Texas Tech, or if you don't have at Texas A&M. What do you do at North Carolina that you don't do at North Carolina State? What you do at Duke that you don't do at North Carolina State? What kind of fan are you? What kind of fans? What or do you do? How do you go? You know, celebrate your team's victory. What do you do after your game? Do you sit in the parking lot, wait for the traffic, and sit back and drink a little bit more cocktails, and then get your designated driver to take you out of the stadium and leave your car there? Hey, I seen it done. I seen it done. I seen it done. I seen it done here at Florida State. Dude got so drunk he had to call an Uber and paid the guy whose car is that he parked at his house, paid him storage fee, and come back the next day and get his car because he was so intoxicated. So I've seen that happen. So, you know, are you that type of fan? What kind of fans are you? What kind of fans you really like? What kind of are your friends after the season's over? Are you friends with some of your Texas? Hey, how about Texas A&M guys? Are you? I know you probably got some Longhorn friends and stuff like that. Are you really friends after the game? What do you do? What do you like? North Carolina State. I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you straight up. Duke and North Carolina fans, we're passionate about our team. But I got some friends. They're friends after the game. I got a buddy that went to school with. We fight like cats and dogs about North Carolina, Duke, and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, we're always friends. We stay friends. We've been friends for almost 30, 40 years now. You know, I love him to death. I'll take his back up. I don't care what team he roots for, blah blah blah. But I'm telling you, when it comes to sports, when that game comes down, we talk trash. At the end of the game, soon the game is over, we become friends again. Me and my sister, I love my sister to death. I love my brother to death. But when teams fight come, we battle it out. At the end of the day, we love each other. That's college football, man. That's passionate fans. I'm really a passionate fan. And right now, we just covered the ACC. We covered America. We covered the Big 12. Next week, we're going to cover the Big 10. We're going to cover Conference USA. We're going to do the football independents. That's your next three coming up. And then we might start with the MAC, the Mountain West, the Pac-12, the SEC, and the Sun Belt. We'll probably get all those conferences next week, and we're going to try to finish it all up by the time we roll around. And yes, we might do Division II and Division III football team. So, and Jay said, how about fan duels? Hey, man, we can do fan duels, man. Come on, dude. Hey, we can do it. We can bring some fans on here. We can battle it out. We can do a segment. We'll write some questions. We'll battle it out. We'll get you started. Y'all talk, a little bit of trash, not a little bit of foul language trash, but a little bit of trash talking. See how it gets into it, see what the interaction is with fans. That's a good job, Jay. Yeah, I can do a little bit of fan duels. We can do a little bit. And how about this? If we can get some people to do it, grill up your best tailgate meal. And we'll do it live on the show. We'll bring it live on the show. And you can show off your cooking skills. And we'll call it the tailgate battle between schools. Which school's got the best tailgate? So you put your best tailgate spread. And we'll get it off and going, man. This is getting here. And look, let's see here. I told you I might need to come out in your place. See, I told you, man. I told you I can get Freddie right in his. I get Freddie right in his little meat wagon. People in Texas like that meat wagon. Yeah. Hey, Gate Off Live. Hey, there you go. Hey, man, Jay's getting some good topics here. You know, he's putting in some good information here. You know, hey, what you smoking, rat? At that meat? Oh no, man, no, dude, no. When I smoke some meat, I smoke it. I'll go get a. I got a freaking 25-pound brisket. I got a. I get 8 ribs. Put the baby back ribs. Put them on there. Set them up. Marinate them overnight. I can smell them. I can smell them through my frigid door when they get marinated. Set my smoker. You know, the ribs take about 8 hours. You want good ribs, you take 8 hour ribs. A brisket, you got to kind of baby it all night long. Take about 20, 24, 26 hours to smoke it. Oh, baby, that thing falls off. You pull it out, that thing falls off. That just, And then you got a Boston butt, man. You get one with the bone in, and you cook it just right. You smoke it for about 17, 18, 19 hours. Depends on what you want. You slow smoke it. When you pull it out, you can just pull the bone right out, and it falls right out. You ain't got to use no tools, no nothing. And then when you pick it up, the thing just carests over. You know? So, David, when you come out, man, you know, we all need to get together, man. We get it. This. Ooh. Hey, man. Thanks, Freddie, for the comment. Great first show. Yes. You know, I thought I was going to be kind of skeptical because there's only one person right now. I think I got everybody's groove intentions here. You know, I'll keep it up, mixing up with food, and then mixing up with some football in there. And then he says, "Oh, this dude is giving cooking advice. Hey, man, tailgate, dude. Gotta get somebody get the perfect tailgate. You gotta get the perfect tailgate here. You know, that's all about college. That's all about football, man. Tailgating. You get the passionate fans out there tailgating. You get there freaking 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. You get your tailgate ready. You put it down, and you got everybody in the parking lot smelling and looking at you. You know, you want to be the center of attention to tailgate. You want to win that tailgate parking lot because some universities they do that. They play the tailgate game, and we got the best tailgate, and they feature on that big screen. That's what you want. You want to get on that big screen. Oh no, Freddie, you can't school me on cooking, bud. I've been cooking for a long time. My dad taught me how to cook when I was freaking 10 years old, dude. My dad was a good cook. You know, you can't school me on that, bro. It ain't too much you can school me on, but you ain't school me on cooking. You know, I got a big old pot belly right now. Just thinking about it. I already gained like 5-6 pounds when this show started. Talking about that all that meat and stuff. You know, I try to lose weight during the winter. Summertime, man, ooh, the cooking's on because you get that and barbecue, that grill. You know, grill cooking is all so good. You know. But anyway, so I mean, it's been an interesting show. You know, I hope I kept everybody's attention live. I mean, I've seen people pop in and pop out. I seen got some love, got some likes. You know, I got some comments. I got some people got hungry. I know Freddie probably gonna go back out that Whataburger and get you that Whataburger patty milk. You know, you got that patty milk again. You know, I bet you're getting ready for that work. You sitting there working, and you're gonna be thinking about my show. That's what you're gonna be thinking about. You sit at freaking Lowe's and you see that wood, you'll be like, and then you walk past the grill section. Oh man, oh Ray just got me ready to cook on the grill right there. Pull it right there at Lowe's, load it up, cook it right there for all the customers to smell. Yeah, yeah, Freddie, you need to stay out of the grill section there, you know, for a little while because you're simmering. I can see you thinking simmering. You know, I got his attention. Look at him sitting there laughing and stuff. You know, you got people working. You know, you got people near them restaurants and stuff. You'll be running in. Hey, so you got them tastes, you got that smell. You go through a barbecue place and you smell it. It'll be like, Ray, oh man, Ray's got me cooked. I got to stop at this barbecue place and give you something to eat. You know, these barbecue people are gonna be thanking me after this show is over. Everybody running and get to that barbecue from their favorite barbecue spot. You'll be like, people asking you, hey, why are you getting barbecue? Hey, man, us in this great sports show on the ASAP Network. He's talking about tailgating, talking about briskets, he's talking about ribs, he's talking about, you know, Boston bus. He's talking about steaks. He's talking about pork chops. Hey man, I got to dive hard pork chops for you if you really want to know about it too. I can cook a grill, steak. Hey man, ain't nothing I can't do in the grill, man. They call me grill master. Oh yeah, we getting it all thinking here. But yeah, that's one thing about tailgate football in college. You tailgate in college football and your favorite beverage. And when you get home after the game, you go take that nap. Well done, and get it started by next week. You know, get it all started. So I hope you like this show so far. I hope I kept you interested. You know, you seen the wig. Hey, maybe next time I'll do the paint up face. Put my war paint on and do the show. Maybe. I gotta get that approved first. You know, but yeah, when college football gets started, man, it's nothing that you can't say that we have not seen before. And this show is going to be around for a long time. This network's going to be around for a long time, and we're going to get you ready for your pregame football show. This show's going to be everything else, but you know, if you're tired of listening to like those other shows on these other networks and other TVs, this show is fresh, and I tend to keep it fresh. I tend to keep it people invited intention. We talk about sports, we talk about the tailgate, we talk about the fans. We want to get the perspective of what you think about college football, your perspective about what your team is, how your team is really, 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 really dig in, how y'all really tailgate at your spot. And maybe one day we get so big enough we can go around and tailgate at everybody's and do the show live at different college venue stadiums. That's the vision I have. I'm a over the top visionist. I'm a visionist that looks at how you can do a show better. And what not way better is take this show on the road, go to everybody's tailgate at different colleges and taste their food and see if their food can compare to what most college football fans are looking for. So that's coming. If we get it, that will be good. And if you got your food, you can put it on the screen because if you send your pictures in, your food show will your stuff will be seen on this show here. And guess what? I just got a good idea when my buddies here just text me. If you send your pictures in, I will put a special page on the ASAP network called The Food of Tailgating. You tell me your college, we'll associate with your college team. We'll put it on our website. Everybody in the World Wide Web can go to our website and see your food that you cook. How about that? And then at each week, we do the top food picture, and whoever wins gets a bigger picture on the front page of the website. How about that? That is something that we can all think about. I got to give Jay some credit. Some of the stuff he puts out there and stuff like that. We are going to have something big here at this show, and the only way we're going to get it big is you fans help us out by sharing, posting, commenting, interacting, and let's see how big this thing gets when college football really kicks off and this show really happens. We can put some of these other networks to shame, kick them out of here because everybody wants to come to this show, to this network, to see us put on this fantastic show. And so we're getting close here to wrap up here on the first show of the Ray Sports Show. I'm glad that everybody has joined. I have some good comments. I have some good things. I will go back and watch this show to make some adjustments a little bit better to next time. That's how I am. I'm kind of a perfectionist of my craft. I always go back and rewatch all my shows and make some little bit of adjustment and a little bit of movement on it and see what we can content and kind of set up here for the next show. But like I said, just think about it. We got a 1 week. The show will be back on at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Central Time, and I'm sorry, 9 a.m. Yeah, 8 a.m. 9 a.m. East, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, and 6 a.m. Pacific time. And look, I'm telling you, you're West Coasters, man. Football season come up. Your football season coming up, baby. Y'all gonna have to get up and y'all gonna have to join in. So this is what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at. I want people from the East Coast, the middle of the state, and the West Coast all get involved because I want to hear about the West Coast teams out there, UCLA, all the way down to San Jose State, all the way down to the Pee Wee teams. I want to hear everybody in the middle of the state from anywhere from Ohio State, Illinois, all the way down to Michigan, all the way down to St. Louis University. I want to hear everybody from the East Coast, all the way down from up north, all the way down in the south, in the middle, even Hawaii. I want to hear from y'all. And then look, and if you really want to know about it in Hawaii time, 8, 9 a.m. It's 3 a.m. in Hawaii. Yes, I want to hear it from the Rainbow Warrior Nation because I used to be stationed out there in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii when I was in the Navy. And yes, and that was a good time because college football came on early in the morning. And when that 8 o'clock ESPN game at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was done. And then you could see every football game, and you still had a little nightlife out there in Hawaii. So, yes, your Rainbow Warriors, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the Rainbow Warriors at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do y'all will y'all get up and listen to the show at 3 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii time? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a little. Let me tell you a little story real quick here. My mom passed away back in February, and I still think about some of the stuff that I'd done to my mom over the years. And the one thing I always done was I always called my mom at midnight, and it'll be 6 o'clock in the afternoon in Hawaii. I always call her at midnight, and I always ask her what's the lottery number in the future because the next day has changed in North Carolina at the time, and she thought it was always funny because I always called her at midnight, and she always answers the phone, and she's like, "Yes, how can I help?" I said, "What's the future like? You're in the future right now because I'm still in the past." I said, "What's the future like?" And she just always laughs. She always plays it up. She's like, "It looks bright, baby. It looks bright." That's my mom. My mom was always a bit of inspiration to me when I called her. Uh, she surely is being missed, but her memory is going to stick on because, today, out there, this serious note, out there, you treat your mom with most respect, love your mom because you don't know how long they're going to be around in your life. We don't know how long we're going to be around in life. You're not promised the next day. You're not promised the next second. You know, life is short, and it's getting real short now because of the pandemic. People with COVID and all that stuff passing away. We got friends passing away, got pastors passing away, and it's not likely how this is taken here and told in the United States and all over the world. But like I said, if you always there, always treat your parents with respect. They respect you, you respect them. You don't know how long you're going to be around with your parents until they're gone, and you wish they will be back. I mean, I lost my dad when I was 18. I lost my mom when I'm 30, 49 years old now. I lost my mom this year, so I have no parents. Me, my sister, and my brother are the only survivors that we have for each other. We have to take care of our family. You have to take care of your family. Your family's most important thing first. Your health is more important. College football will always be around, but like I said, it's going to be kind of hard sometimes to watch college football, watch, you know, my teams play because my mom was always there. My mom always calls me after the game. She said, "Son, I can hear you always hollering from where you're at to my house in North Carolina, and I can hear you really good." And that's the hardest thing have to do right now because she always calls me, and that phone will never ring again because she passed away and she lived 71 years of her life, and that's how short. My mom was young. My mom was not that old. Um, she was in her 70s. She was always there. She was always a rock for us. She always kept that family. Me and my brother and all that. And sometimes we get in little arguments and stuff. So my mom was always there to pull us back together as a family. So now we have to learn now how to pull ourselves out as a family. And college football is really going to be hard because my mom was always there when I needed to talk to her about certain things, and then when the game is over, yeah, it's just a little simple thing. It was just a phone call. She always called, and the final buzzer went off, or the final horn, or the final kick, or however you call it in the game. And the final, and that F showed up in the final, about 30, 40 seconds. My mom always called, son, I heard you. I understand North Carolina lost. It's not the end of the world, but I heard you. I could hear you from Jacksonville, Florida, all the way to North Carolina because I know you were yelling at the television. And that's my mom always, she always does that. And this is the hardest, this is going to be the hardest season because you really don't know what you miss when you miss the little simple things from your parents. So, out there, teach your mom, your parents with respect, enjoy the time you have with them because when that time has come and you're missing them, it's going to be really hard because you have the holidays, Mother's Day, you have Christmas. You know, my mom's birthday was, May 10th. She passed away in February, and I went home, spent a week at home with my sister and my brother and their family, and went to visit my mom's grave and stuff on her birthday. And that was very touching. It was a very sentimental thing. So, college football is going to be a little different for me a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of getting to, but my passion ain't going to stay the same. My passion's always going to be there. If it's up and down, because that's what I live for. That's what my mom wanted me to live for. And that's why I joined this network, because I love sports and I always want to be a sportscaster and I always want to have my own show. And the ASAP network gave me that opportunity and gave me that skill. And dude, it's been a great run so far. This run is not over. This run is big. This show is going to start out big, and we're going to continue on this. Like I said, this is not going to be a different type of pregame show that you ever seen. You will not see it on any other network. But man, we're going to have everything. We're going to have it from tailgating all the way down to the college football game itself, to your injury reports, who's going to be up, who's not, who's going to win the game, and all the picks might not be right, but hey, they're my picks, they're my opinions. You don't have don't like them. Hey, that's fine because everybody's not all the same. But you know what? We are the same. We are the heart of college football passionate fans, and we're passionate about our team. And this show right here will be all about you. So, getting ready to, I'm gonna get ready to call it a day here. So it was 2 hours, 42 minutes, and 19 seconds here with the first show. I know we got it off a little bit, started a little bit late, but we got to work it out. I'm going to try to keep it at noon. So the show will stop here right at noon. It's 11:58. So thanks for joining. This is the Ray Sports Show. My name is Ray Cruz. This is the ASAP Network. Please, please, please go check our website out at www.asapsportsnetwork.com. All one word. Facebook page, All Sports, All Play. YouTube channel. You can hit the search as ASAP Sports Network with the exclamation point. And then you can go to Twitch, ASAP Network. And then you also can check my Facebook page out at Ray Sports Show 1. So you have it there. It's always strolling. It's always live. You can catch every show on the ASAP Network on the show here. And thank you for joining the Ray Sports Show. And don't forget, the NFL, the other league that we don't talk about here on this show, they have the Touchdown Club is coming up on their debut tomorrow. And I believe it's at 11:30 Central Time. So go with the boys over there. Stay tuned on that thing. Go check the time out. Go check the schedule out. It's all on the network. Go down to the bottom underneath the live feed. You'll see every show, what time they come on, that's on this network. Come on and show the love. And if you want to, not if you want to, you got to. It's a diehard need. Go ahead and share this feed. All you got to do is click the share it. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day. And I know Freddie's going to be cooking at Lowe's party in Texas. So you need to go by Lowe's. He might be cooking you some good meals on them grills. He might be showing you how to do a test grill of them because he's ready for that. Oh, I smell that brisket coming. Peace out. This is the Ray Sports Show. This is Ray Cruz. Thanks for coming. Have a good day.